Salutations, my wonderful people, and welcome to another episode of Unsolved. With me, as always, I'm G20. I'm Godpool here. I'm mixing everything up because this is not my normal intro here. With me, of course, as always, is Kellen, who plays the role of Richard Barden.
You feel lucky, punk.
I do. And Zia, who plays the role of Lisa Di Bruno.
I don't feel lucky.
And then I have Michael, who plays Gene Franklin's, our local grumpy man. And then we have Brianna, who is playing Leslie Hart.
Yeah, it could go either way.
So, we took a break last weekend because I was at Gen Con, and so we're here to make up for that. And we're gonna try to have this this episode action-packed for you guys. How do you guys like that idea? It's gonna be full of explosions and gunshots and everything.
Oh, sure, make it action-packed when the party is split.
Well,
so which one of us is going to have the action?
Well, that's a good question.
Grumpy old man.
Well, that's up for you guys to find out.
Considering that the two technically combat-heavy characters are together, I'm saying it's actually going to be Gene and Leslie for some odd reason.
Yeah. For some odd reason, it's going to be them. So... Oh my god.
My broken ribs. Ow.
I had just a moment where I just brain farted really hard, and I'm trying to remember what I was going to say. Yeah.
If there's a car chase in here, there has to be a fruit stand, and someone has to run into it. That's all there's got. That's all there is to it.
Last time that didn't happen, but you did run into... But the police car did run into your car, if I remember correctly.
I ran into a building.
Yeah, I ran into a building, yeah. But yeah, before we start the session itself, we are going to roll our skill increases, because I know there were some last time, and we forgot to do it in the beginning last time. So, let's start with you, Gene. I know you have 2.
I have 3 that were sitting around from the last 2 games.
Okay.
So, law... Oops. Right. That doesn't work.
No,
yeah,
it
don't.
That doesn't work.
Hold on. Okay, so I need to fail the...
Yeah, you need to fail the roll.
Okay. I had to navigate. That one will.
Yeah.
And that's a D10.
You've never increased it before, so yes, a D10.
Okay.
Sweet. And your last one is what?
Occult.
Okay, let's roll that.
That would have succeeded.
Yes, you would have. Now, next would be Lisa. Do you have anything you need to increase?
I rolled a 6, but I have no idea if... I didn't keep track, because I always forget, because I'm new.
So, you rolled a 6 on something last time, didn't you?
Yeah. But I don't know what.
Okay, wait. Maybe we can figure it out. Maybe we can.
Was it the first aid?
No, she failed the first aid. I remember that.
Yeah.
She rolled...
I succeeded at the first aid, didn't I?
No, you just barely failed it, I think.
Oh.
No, you barely. I think you barely succeeded it.
Yeah.
You rolled a 6 after you met Detective Jensen with the arson department.
Yeah, I see the 6 in the chat log history there. Lisa rolled it and rolled a 6. I just
don't know why.
Don't know when or what that was.
Maybe, Lisa.
We can skip it.
You can figure it
That's
out
what-
real quick. It's somewhere in the middle of the video itself. So if you check it out, you might be able to find it.
I'll find it some other time. It's not really that important.
Okay. Gotta check real quick over these notes to see whether or not I remember. Oh wait, wasn't it library use?
Where did I use library use?
On the I think you used it on the book itself, or I think you used it on the phone book.
That was me, I think. Or did we pass it around a few times?
Yeah, I think you failed the libraries for the book.
Oh, okay.
If we're not sure, let's just wait and look it up later.
Well, we'll look it up later.
+1 to everything.
+1 to everything. You get a +1. You get a +1. We all get a +1.
Yay!
I'm fine with that.
This was a lie to get your hopes up. Let's see. Then let's jump to Leslie.
I think I have 2. I got jump and listen. So let's go for jump first.
Oh, you created jump?
Ah. Yep. So what am I rolling for that? I think it is the first time.
Yeah, D10 for the first time. I remember that. I remember that Richard critted his jump real well. The only thing that he critted, I think, that session. So you increase your jump by 8.
Yeah.
You added 10.
Oops.
So every time after the initial the first increase, it's gonna be a D6.
Okay. And for my listen. Nope.
You succeeded that roll. So Richard, it's time for you to do the last roll.
Yep. I got my Van Halen skill going up. Jump for anybody that didn't get that. 0 successes. Yes.
Sweet.
First time. Let me roll that beautiful D10. Haha. Damn it.
Great.
Whatever.
You're sticking to your thing, man. You are a low rider here. You're a low roller.
Shut up.
I mean, in Call of Cthulhu, low rolling is good.
Yeah. I'm gonna give you all a clap here, a very meager clap for this wonderful display of rolls. Now, let's see. I don't think there was anything else that I needed to shoot out here, so we can actually just jump into the game. When we last left our agents, they had decided that they had to they had a few places that they needed to investigate properly in an attempt to get some proper clues on what to do, and they decide to split up. Jean and Leslie decide to go to the Short and Williams apartment building where Short lived prior to her death, and Lisa and Richard decide to go to the Underwood apartment. Lisa and Richard took Lisa's father's car and headed towards the Underwood apartment, and Jean and Leslie exited through the front door of the police station as we ended last time. A few things of note that they remember is that they befriended a detective from the arson department of the police named Detective Jensen. A potential new ally within the police. Agent Richard got his Agent Barden got his phone number and badge number so that he could contact him in case anything would happen. And they had made a plan to meet up at 8 p.m. this evening so that Richard could get his hat back and possibly sample it for some evidence. Prior to that, Richard and Leslie had got injured in an explosion and received a light concussion.
Bless you.
Bless you. And received a light concussion, and Leslie had broken a few of his ribs. They were hospitalized for the night to help them recover, and thankfully it wasn't any worse than that. Now, we jump to the beginning of this session. I'm going to roll a die here to determine which one of you I'm going to start with. High, okay. Jean and Leslie, I'll be starting with you. You walk on. Yep. Yes, Leslie. You're about to say something?
No, I just made a sound.
Ah. Okay.
Just a Jean grunt.
So, Jean and Leslie. Oh my god, I'm dying. I'm recovering from a cough, so. Jean and Leslie, you leave the police station and walk into the humid air of LA. You look around and you can see the traffic has kind of gotten gotten really thick around this time, and there's a lot of people around. Don't see a taxi anywhere close by, but a taxi's probably gonna go by anytime. What do you guys want to do?
I turn to Jean and say, hey, you want to go back inside, ask for the keys to one of their cars?
Not really, we'd look like idiots.
So what, are we going to walk?
How far is the walk?
So, let's see. Oh my god, so you are currently here. So it would be a pretty far walk. It is, the apartment building is, let's see. It's on, I still have such a hard time remembering how to actually refer to your streets. It's on, let's see, if you East 35th Street on Maple, let's see, yeah. If you go down Maple Avenue for a very long time and get to East 35th Street, that's where it is. Apartment number, let's see, I'm just going to go all the way down here on the map. Yeah.
There is no way that the landlord's going to think we're reputable. We show up sweaty after walking for several miles. And we need him to let us in because we don't have a warrant.
It would be great to have a warrant, but you don't have one.
Leslie, go call us a cab, please.
You got a quarter?
They have a phone on the station. You're gonna walk over to the.
If I'm walking into this station, I will ask for the keys to a car.
You just walk into the station then?
Yes, I walk into the station. I ask for keys for one of their cars.
It would be 1 or 2.
I thought that was why we were getting the car. You said the unboarded.
Yeah, we're walking a mile in suits would be warm.
Yeah. It's not like it's incredibly warm. It's just it's gonna be really uncomfortable walking that far. So I can check what the weather was just for shits and giggles.
Yeah, you're right. It'd be in the 70s.
Is that
High
with
60s.
global warming?
Yeah, you're right.
All right, let's say I do ask for the car.
So you ask for the car.
Yes.
Okay. So you requisition car, and it takes about like 10 minutes until he arrives back with car keys for you. And he hands you the car keys.
I say thank you very much, and I take the car keys.
No problem. And he continues to work.
Right,
he says it's down in the lot behind.
All right.
And you go to get Jean, and you kind of walk back in like into the station, and kind of walk to the back exit, which leads to the parking lot. And you can see there's a bunch of cars there, and you look at the keychain, and you see that it has the number 14. So you're looking for car number 14.
I try and match the car up to the key. I imagine that the number is on the license plate, right?
Yeah.
All right, so I'll look for a license plate with the 14 on it.
You would know that it would end on a 14.
All right.
Okay, so you look for a while, and it doesn't take you very long. There are not many police cars there. So you do find a police car that has the number 14 at the end of its number plate.
All right, I try and use the key to get in the car.
It opens. No problems at all.
I just, for some reason, I double check underneath the car for anything that looks suspicious. Leaks, things that shouldn't be there, rust.
I want you to roll. Okay, you can decide between two things to roll here. You can roll, let's see, where is this? Mechanical repair, or you can roll spot hidden.
You want to roll spot? Where's my spy? Those are both pretty bad, but I guess I will roll spot hidden.
Okay.
Oh.
What you doing, Leslie?
Looking.
Looking for what?
I don't know. Something suspicious.
You look pretty suspicious.
I say fine, and I hand the keys to Jean.
And gee, there are keys in your face right now. So what do you want to do?
You signed them out. Your car.
At this point, I'm pretty ticked. So I say, fine, my car. I get into the car, I reach over, and I lock the passenger seat. In my car, you can sit in the back.
Gene sits in the back. He rolls his eyes, but...
So I look at like the dashboard, test the parking brake, make sure that there's gas in the car and whatnot.
Well, he does that. Gene kicks off his loafers and like stretches out in the back seat and gets comfortable. It's just sort of laughing at at Leslie's attitude.
So as Leslie kind of with frustration starts to get the car going and starts to kind of head off, we will turn our attention back to Richard and Lisa, who are currently driving to the Underwood apartment. You're about like halfway there when we cut to you. And you're kind of just like driving, like you ended up being stuck in a little bit of traffic, which is why you haven't arrived there yet. But like you're not like very stuck or anything like that. You're moving along.
Well then.
Lisa is awkwardly silent.
Nice car.
Mm-hmm.
Handle smoothly.
Mm-hmm.
So then, what do you think we'll find back at the Underwood place? I know I want to look back downstairs at the aftermath.
Laughing out of character.
I realize.
Bomb evidence, shrapnel, maybe things missing from the apartment upstairs. Noting what's missing.
You know, I was thinking, you remember that weird thing with the TV?
Yes.
You think we could call in an electrician to have a look at the TV? Someone that's a specialist?
I expect they wouldn't be able to find much. However, that is something we could do.
It's awful strange. I have, to be left a message like that. So, someone tampering, someone that's a little better with electronics than ourselves, might be able to give us a little idea. See if it's a little movie magic, as we are in LA.
Lisa is thoroughly creeped out by the television. She firmly believes it's like some sort of, like it's like, because it's the sort of age of movie magic, she's like not sure if it could be some sort of like weird satanic thing or just tampering. So she's kind of scared of it.
Occam's razor. The simplest solution is most often correct. Let's get us a specialist in there. We'll have someone take a look at it.
Mm-hmm.
Make a call from the apartment.
Out of character, was there any, like, while they were setting up, like, perimeters because of the fire and the bombing, did she notice any, like, payphones yesterday?
There's a payphone pretty close by. It's around this time that you are, like, kind of, like, rolling up to the house. You kind of park on this, like, next to the sidewalk, and you
in that
see
case, she would like.
Yeah, you see that the perimeter has been like guarded off, and you see that there are police officers there. You see some people from the arson department there.
Yeah. So she would point out the payphone and probably like rattle off her police extension for her operator.
You can also see that Mr. Detective Jensen is there, as this is his case.
So she would be like, because Richard is sort of the senior officer, she would sort of be following his lead. But she would definitely, want to get into Miss Underwood's apartment to see if anything like that wasn't evidence that she noticed yesterday would be missing. Like, she wants to see if there's any tampering. You know? She's very suspicious now that it's like an inside job.
So, you're gonna call your operator, right? Like,
Well, I would want to stick to Richard if he was going to talk to Detective Jensen. But afterwards, yeah.
So basically, you park the car like in front. You can see that you parked behind another unmarked police car, which you assume is. Richard, you were to recognize this car as being Detective Jensen's car. You saw him drive off on it earlier.
All right. Well, let's see. We can start with the apartment. I don't necessarily want to go back down to the boiler room at the moment. Besides, we'll talk to Detective Jensen if we're able to go down there. But at least the apartment we should be cleared to go into. I'm saying this to Lisa.
Yeah. So you guys, you exit the car. You kind of like close the door, and you walk up to the sidewalk and towards the front door of the apartment. You can see that there is a police tape there, and there are a few police officers there, and you don't, Richard, you don't recognize any of them. A lot of these are street cops that are obviously working for the arson department, but you think they're coming from like the Hollywood station up above, where the arson guys are.
Right. Well, just as courtesy, flash badge, you know.
They kind of like look at each other and you see one of them go, "One moment, sir." And he walks backwards, walks towards like Jensen, who is like in the door talking to someone, like to another police officer. And you see the officer that asked you to wait for a moment. He kind of taps his shoulder and goes like, talks to him for a moment until like Detective Jensen like looks over his shoulder and goes like, and he goes like, waves the officer and walks towards you like, "Agent, detective, good to see you." And he extends a hand. And
shake his hand.
And he extends his hand to you as well, Lisa.
I would shake it.
Didn't expect to see you guys so soon. What brings you to the crime scene?
Well, we just wanted to, since we were all in a rush yesterday, we wanted to kind of also go back over things, see if there was anything we missed ourselves. Basically, you know, just assist and look at things that are relative to our case.
The grumpy man not with you?
What do you say?
The grumpy one, the grumpy guy not with you?
No, Gene and Leslie, they're following another lead at the moment.
Well, come in. I can't allow you to go directly down to the boiler room right now, since we're still checking out the place. But you can check out the apartment if that's what you want. Technically seen, it's not a direct arson crime scene. We're still checking it out. We're still checking it, but I can let it slide. Let you guys check it out.
Of course. Oh, detective, do you by any chance have a finger dusting kit on you?
I would imagine Lisa has like extra, not necessarily like cop reserved stuff, but just like detective, you know, you can take this sort of home with you type things in just every car she has access to.
He goes, I don't, but we do have a forensics expert here on site that you could possibly borrow some from.
Excellent. If needed, by all means.
And he goes like, "Oh, one moment, Joshua!" And he kind of starts walking to like towards, and you see this like older man like kind of turn around. He's like at one of the bigger police cars that has like a lot of equipment in it, and he turns around, like, and Jensen talks to him for a moment, and the the man kind of like nods for a while and goes like, and he takes out a square bag, like a briefcase that's like pretty like big and square, obviously kind of a tool case, and he starts walking to you. And when he arrived, he goes like, I'm Joshua Foreman, forensics expert.
Agent Barden, FBI.
How can I help you?
Just if you had a spare fingerprinting kit, or could spare your services for a bit if we need you, if you're going to be here a while.
I can do some I can do some dusting for you. I'm not too fond of letting the gear leave my sights for too long.
Understandable. Unless, Lisa, are you trained expert forensics as well?
Isn't there a stat for that?
Technically seen, it would be. Let's see.
So I would imagine that would be just like the basics of it would be a trained detective skill.
From what I remember, most of the time back in that, like from what I've checked out that back then, a lot of the times most of that stuff was done by forensic experts. They dusted and stuff like that. So detectives themselves didn't do a lot of dusting, but I think it would be like chemistry or biology that they would roll.
In that case, you'd say, I am not an expert. I have the basic kit for necessities in the car, but I don't have the expertise knowledge for using it. I can collect fingerprints, but that's about it.
Oh, that's fine, Lisa. Joshua, if we need you, we'll certainly call for you, since you guys are still going to be here for a while, correct?
Yeah, we'll be here all day, most likely. I'll be heading down to the boiler room soon to kind of check out some more samples. We gathered some evidence from there yesterday, but we haven't gone down to do a proper sample checks. So just talk to Jensen. He'll get me. If I'm not too busy, I'll be up soon.
Much appreciated.
Agent, detective, and he kind of like nods his head towards both of you.
I'll reach up to tip my non-existent hat. Damn it.
And he kind of walks back to the car that he was getting some gear from, and he stops there for like a moment and then walks into the building, obviously going down to the basement.
Right.
And Jensen kind of walks up to you as Joshua leaves and goes, "Well, I got some work to do here. If you need anything, you can just you can grab me. I need to oversee the crime scene."
Well, before you go to the crime scene, since you guys are still here, and I know we were going to meet up later, and you just happened to meet earlier, do you have my hat?
No, it's it's at the evidence locker.
Damn. All right.
It's one of the evidence that they had collected the day before, and after the explosion, one of the first thing took pictures of everything. Then you can see that there's obviously not a crime scene photographer, because the crime scene photographer arrived yesterday, shortly after the explosion, and they already took photos. So now they're kind of just doing secondary checkouts of the crime scene and making sure that they're not missing anything.
All right, sounds good.
And they've already taken what evidence they know they can move. But yeah, I'll be here if you need me. I need to oversee this place.
All right.
Agent, detective, talk to you later. And he goes back to talk to some of the officers that he was talking to before.
All right, Lisa. I guess we'll head on up to the apartment.
You can
before
see
we
it.
do-
You can see him. He's like, you can see him that he's like kind of like telling them that you guys are allowed to check out the apartment check out the scene upstairs.
Before we do, I would ask Richard if he still wants me to call for an electrical expert.
Yes, and possibly if the expert is someone that maybe works closely with Hollywood.
Yeah,
maybe
I
worked-
would. I would basically be calling the cops, my
Yeah,
my
the
station
operator.
and asking
Yeah.
for like the whoever works with them for detecting like sort of fraudulent like electricians that work a lot with sort of like Hollywood scam type things.
So you kind of, as Richard kind of starts to head up, you kind of jog towards the payphone and you call up the operator and get connected with your station, and you hear a familiar voice go, "Central Station, how can I help you?"
I can't remember.
You say it's like Detective Bruno badge
Yeah,
number. Blah, blah, blah.
I would say, Detective Bruno, badge number, blah, blah, blah.
I have your badge number. It exists. It is
Does it matter?
1291. 1291.
Okay, badge number 1291. I would,
Detective Bruno.
I would ask for the expert who work or the information for one of the registered experts on file who work with the police in Hollywood Hollywood type special effects electrician type work.
One moment, detective. And you hear her put down the phone and kind of search for a while. And it takes a good while. Until she... let's see. After a while, you hear her pick up the phone again and goes, we have a man named Harold Richardson who is a special effects and camera expert that works closely with Hollywood. He has also assisted us on a few number of cases that are connected to the movie industry. Would this suffice?
Does he have sufficient electrical repair and basically I would ask for like what he does for whatever information he told them, what are his capabilities, whatever they have on file.
He specializes in seeing. He specializes in seeing if any sort of tape or film has been altered or changed in any way. He specializes in special effects. He is basically what we would call a forgery detector for basically movies.
Out of character, yes, but will he know anything about the back of a normal television?
I mean, he knows. You would know he works basically as like a camera hand and as an editor and stuff like that. He knows quite a bit about how TVs and stuff like that work, as that is his business basically.
Okay, in that case, would they like? I guess I would just ask for the number. His like, for like business information he gave them, and thank her, hang up, and call that number.
Yeah. She gives you the number, like where to call, and you get a number for basically one of the studios. He works with one of the studios, basically in Hollywood itself. He's kind of a big shot there, and you can call him.
I do. I
It
call whatever number that was given to me.
it takes a while until kind of another secretary.
I'm not gonna, like, wait on hold if they put me on hold.
No, you're not put on hold. You wait for a while until another secretary basically answers, goes like, "Excuse me, this is Mr. Richardson's office."
Is Mr. Richardson available to speak briefly? I am Detective Lisa Bruno, and I rattle off my badge number because I've already forgotten it.
One moment. Mr. Richardson can speak to you. Hold for a moment. And she transfers the call. And in about 5 to 10 seconds, a man answers to go like, "Richardson, how can I help you?"
Mr. Richardson, this is Detective Bruno of the police department. We have regarding a ongoing case, we have a suspicious event involving a television that we need an expert opinion from. Is there any way that we could book you to examine it in the very near future?
He goes, one moment, let me check my schedule. I am available now, but only for about an hour or so I can quickly check it out if you want.
Sir, that would be absolutely perfect. If you could, I would very much appreciate it.
Alright, just tell me where to be.
Okay. And before I give him the address, I ask him for one moment. I grab one of the police officers and I ask if anyone, like someone who's been like guarding this place like since last night, someone who hasn't gotten off shift yet, really tired looking, got a cup of coffee, and I ask if the police officers carried out the television from the apartment for evidence.
No, ma'am. We have not taken out the television.
Okay, in that case, I run back to the phone. This takes she's like really trying not to piss this guy off. So she runs back to the phone. She rattles off the address, the apartment number, and basically, that there's a police blockade.
You would have to basically ask specifically for you at the blockade. You would know that.
Yeah, and I would basically give him all the information he would need to get in.
So yeah, after like a moment, you hang up with him, and you know that he's like on his way. He'll be like there in about 15 minutes maybe.
Okay, I would immediately go to, like, I don't know if the arson detective is the one like controlling the blockade, but I would immediately
he is the officer in control. This
I would
is his
immediately
case.
inform that I have an expert coming in for the apartment. He's kind of a big shot. We don't want to piss him off.
Is my name Gene?
Jensen goes like, All right. What is his name?
I gave him his name.
Harold Richardson. That's okay.
Harold Richardson.
Uh,
I have.
Haroldson.
He's coming to check the apartment, right?
Yes, not the
Oh,
downstairs, but the upstairs.
As long as you don't mess too much with the if you don't mess too much with the
Of course.
crime scene, I'm fine with it.
We have reason to believe that the cases are connected, but the downstairs scene I will not impose upon your case.
Yeah, I mean he as because of your like meeting before with him, you would know that he also believes the cases are connected.
Yeah.
Although,
well, I just want to.
Yeah.
I don't want to have one of those like pissing contests that cops get. So that's basically what I'm trying to do.
Yeah. So but yeah, he kind of like he approves of it at least, and you want to head upstairs?
Yeah. Well, before I do, I want to check to see if the landlord is nearby.
The landlord is not there. Everyone was evacuated from the house the day before.
I know. I just I'm not necessarily looking inside. I'm just like looking around to see if the landlord is talking to any police officers. Luckily,
you do not see him around. At least
in that case, before I go up there, I get whatever from because they would have contacted him by now. Yeah, it's his building. It exploded.
He was there, so he lives in the building, like on the lower floor. He knows this happened.
Yeah, so I would get whatever contact they have, information they have for him, for like where he is now.
I would imagine they're all in a hotel very close by. This this was told to you like this morning. Basically, everyone from the building was basically redirected to a hotel close by.
I want to make sure I know specifically where that guy is, and not just everybody's in a hotel.
Yeah.
Okay, in that case, I will go upstairs then.
Okay, so while Lisa is doing her thing downstairs, what do you want to do, Richard? You arrive in front of her apartment building. In front of her apartment, I say. And you kind of like peek into the door. Like there's police tape there, so that Lisa put up yesterday, like the cones and everything. And you kind of step over it very delicately.
Didn't I put like tape all over the freaking doorway to make sure I would know if anyone got in?
You put a lot of you put police tape in front of it and like over the doorway.
Yeah,
but you're not there at the moment, so yeah.
Well, I just want to know.
Yeah, but it's enough so a police officer could actually go in, basically.
Well, that's like I didn't want to do that yesterday. I literally wanted to. So you'd have to break the tape.
Oh, okay. So yeah, there's a lot of police tape there. It's not very organized even. It's just like very quickly. Because this was done kind of in haste. But yeah, you can see that there's a lot of police tape, and you would not be able to get through this without cutting it, basically.
I just shake my head, smile, and cut my way through it.
You cut the police tape, and you kind of open the door. You roll a spot hidden check for me, like when you're cutting it.
Got it.
Okay, cool. So you do notice that this police tape that is covering the entirety of the door. Somebody yesterday probably removed it by just removing one side and then just fixed it up again. So probably some police officers probably went in there and fixed it up.
All right, do I catch that before I cut it?
But yeah, you would catch it, you're about to cut it when you do that, when you check it out.
I do not cut it, and I examine closer.
Okay. So, it was basically. It seems like because she was in a hurry, she didn't like secure it like extremely well. Like it was like peeling a bit up and stuff like that. So somebody just basically peeled up the tape and just pulled it off, and then fixed it up again. You can see like it was like you can see that somebody used a, what is it called again, a staple gun, basically something similar to that, and just actually no, just nailed it with like a hammer, like a nails, to make it like to make sure that it sticks. Not many nails, just like 2 nails, but at the top and bottom.
Let's see. I'm not gonna actually use like the blade of my knife, but just the handle to kind of pry. I'm not gonna touch the door frame or anything, and I'll wait on Lisa to get there and tell her not to touch anything. Because if anything, I'll have Joshua come by and print that, and then we can find out exactly who was in here.
Yes.
And so, but either way, I will just use the.
This was not very obvious though. This was like you would have to like notice this like by luck, which you did basically.
Right.
You were just kind of like cutting it, and you noticed it. You were like, oh.
Right. So again, I will. Well, actually, you know what? I can still cut the tape, and that'll leave that spot. I'll just make a note of the spot and tell her.
Yeah. It wouldn't actually it wouldn't actually hurt that spot. Like, it wouldn't necessarily damage that evidence. As long as you're not messing with that in particular, you should be fine.
Okay. Yeah. So I will cut the tape and go in.
Okay. You take a step in, and like again, it's a little bit like it's a little damp, the floor, but you do remember that you guys turned off the water, if I remember correctly. It was like the water has kind of like seeped out, so it's just very damp, the floor. It's not like it's not basically flooded anymore. It's somewhere it's leaking, but it's no it's been like that for the entire night, so it doesn't shock you that it's basically just now a very damp floor. You can kind of feel like the carpet like kind of squish under your feet.
I pull out my pair of latex gloves and begin to perform surgery.
You have latex gloves? You're not like every other detective in LA Noire that touches everything with their hands?
Screw that, we're FBI. We know better.
Yeah, exactly. I remember like they always like I think they always have handkerchiefs in case they don't have gloves to check shit.
When we were doing everything fast on the previous game when all this occurred, yeah, I was using a handkerchief so I wouldn't damage anything, but we were trying to do everything quick, so there wasn't time.
You brought some gloves this time around.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, but it's pretty dark in the apartment. It's there's no light actually, like with because the curtains have been are drawn, are covered and everything. So you can't there's no light except for like the little ray of sunlight coming through like the curtains.
Well, I mean, I'll turn on a light. I've got the gloves on, so I'm not going to damage anything. But if they got a light, I'll flip the switch if it's working.
So you try to flip the switch and nothing happens.
They probably turned that off.
You think that either they turned it off or the fuse was blown during the explosion. The explosion was pretty big.
Right. I completely just let that slip over my head. Get out my flashlight.
Okay.
And open the curtains. The flashlight will just be for an extremely dark spot. The curtain should provide enough natural light for the living room area.
So yeah, it brings a lot of you managed to brighten the room quite a lot just by pulling the curtains apart. It's a lot more brighter in here, and it's around this time that you hear the familiar sound of kind of Lisa kind of jumping up the stairs and kind of arriving in the on the floor.
Hey, Detective Bruno. I want you to take a close look before you come in the door. And I'm actually like talking at her with my back turned to her.
Yeah, I mean you're kind of standing like still in like you're standing kind of in the you're standing in what would be called the living room. And let's see, I don't know if I can draw a very quick map here for you guys.
I rolled a spot hidden because I expect that's what I would do. Is like I would be scanning the door really intently, knowing that yesterday, even though it was like really quick because we heard a really loud noise, the intention was to like make it so if anybody accessed the scene at all, she would notice.
Yeah.
And what is my spot hidden? I passed.
Sweet.
So I see the knife marks.
There are no knife marks. Just it looks like it's peeled.
Cut through. He cut through.
Oh yeah. You see the knife marks.
I'm sorry, Lisa. That's not what I was trying to point out. And then I go over there and I actually, without touching, I point. Look right here specifically.
And I see the nails and the sort of peeled tape, and my mouth, like my expression, just sours really intently because the building was evacuated like right after I put up this tape, and the cops wouldn't have let anyone in, and no one like in a burning building would try to get into a crime scene. And so it's pretty obvious, or at least, it's pretty obvious in her opinion that the people who came in were police officers. And because this was their case or her case, they should have been informed, even if it was like an innocent, someone else collecting evidence type of thing. They should have been informed when they were at the station earlier, or just by anyone.
Mm-hmm.
So she's pissed off. She's just really pissed off. And she suspected this, and she's just like...
Richard sees the look on her face.
Some emotion other than stone.
Richard, of course, sees the look on her face, and he's like, hey, but don't worry, we've got a forensic specialist here. We'll get a fingerprint later.
She's like doing the non-child version of pouting.
Come on in here. Let's take a look around.
So the green you can see me drawing, that's the window that you were like opening up.
And of course I let her know electricity's off. Either they've got it off or the boiler blew it up, fuses. Who knows? But either way, plenty of natural lights, flashlights.
The blue.
Do you want to take her?
The blue on the map basically means that is like not a door. That is either a door or an open walkway through. Like when you walk in, you can immediately see the kitchen, and there's like a wall that leads into the living room. So that is basically how the apartment looks like for you guys. I had like the image in my head the entire time, so I was like, yeah, I know how to do this.
All right. Well, I guess we'll just both search the same room at the same time, so that way we can, like, two sets of eyes are better than one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So you pull like all of the curtains open to get like proper light. There's not going to be any because the bathroom doesn't have a window, any window there, and the bedroom does not. So you know that that's going to be dark in there if you don't have a flashlight.
Right.
You would remember that from like yesterday a little bit, even though you didn't like take too much time there.
Right. Well, just
so what do you want?
Gloves.
So what do you guys? Are you gonna hand Lisa some gloves as well, if she doesn't have one?
I would imagine, like, she would carry, or at the very least, she would have, well, would she have taken a flashlight? That's actually a good question. I would imagine, like, she would have one in the car, but she might not have taken it in with her.
It's probably still in the car right now. But in the living room and in the kitchen, you wouldn't need it so much.
Okay. In that case, she would be, like, surveying the room for, like, looking at the different types of furniture and looking for, and like, when she's walking on the floor, looking for, like, floorboards that seem creaky or, like, out of.
One thing you notice, like,
loose.
immediately when you walked in is, like, how squishy the carpet is. But you do notice that the flooding has stopped. It's like,
Yeah.
and that's because you guys, like, stopped it yesterday. But the carpet is still very squishy, and, like, you can hear the soggy, like.
She would shudder a little.
I personally would like to start with windows. I want to look for signs of entry, fabrics, hairs, so on and so forth.
So, okay, tell me which window you want to check out, and we will start with that one.
You said the greens were the windows?
Yeah.
I will start with, let's just say that the standard cardinal directions apply, the northern window on the living room.
Okay. Realized that there would probably be a little bit more windows since it's the corner building. There. So the northern window. Okay, so you want to examine that. Please roll for me. Spot hidden. Unless you have any other, unless you have an idea of anything else you want to use, and if you can justify it for me, you may use that.
Let me take a look. I believe that one makes the most sense about all the skills I've got.
Mm-hmm. You can use whatever skill you want to basically, like, attempt to investigate something, but you'll have to, like, justify for me why you're using it.
Right. And quick question, on the when you succeeded the skill, we only check if we crit it, right?
Yeah, you only check if you crit it.
Okay, gotcha. All right. And I failed that one.
Oh. You attempt to kind of you can see that this this leads basically directly out to the main street. You can see you're looking there. You open the window kind of like instinctively, just kind of not without thinking, and you kind of like put your head out and you can kind of see down below the police stuff, and you realize, shit. I slightly tampered with this part of the crime scene, and you close it, and you're like, okay, at least there are no fingerprints here. But you do notice, like, when you open it, it creaked open, and like a dust went there, and you kind of like accidentally kind of like held like into the window. So you basically, like, even with your gloves, you kind of accidentally fucked up this window as a possible possible source of evidence.
I step back and I go, this concussion has got me really off my game at the moment. Lisa, would you like to step in and look instead? I'll look over your shoulder.
Okay, so she squelches over and bends down and really looks at the window.
Which window do you want to check out? The same or another one?
Well, she would ask him, you've sort of tampered with this one. Do you still want me to look at it? I don't know what I'm going to find.
Yeah, Lisa, you heard him open the window and you just looked and you were like, what is he doing?
Yeah, she's just sort of like his brain scrambled.
Yeah, you kind of realize his concussion's kind of still acting up here.
She's cutting him slack, but at the same time, she's so like...
Yeah.
Sorry about that knock on my head. You can check this one again. I mean, I may have just messed up anything on it, but I will follow your lead on any other windows. That is just simply my suggestion.
Okay. So, when she looked around for furniture, did she see any sort of desk type furniture or anything with shelves or like?
I mean, yes, there are like shelves and stuff here that have books and stuff in them. Most like there's not a lot of that in the living room. There's like there was like a shelf with books and stuff in it in the bedroom.
Well,
and there is a desk in the bedroom as well, which doesn't surprise you. She was a reporter, so.
Well, I mentioned to Richard, even if we don't find any case notes, because she's a reporter and wasn't she covering a short?
She was she was trying to cover it at least.
So
a lot of people had interest in that news
Exactly.
story.
So she probably made copies of her notes, more than one, in case they were confiscated or stolen or anything. And perhaps we should be looking instead of how they got in, for anything they might have been hunting to see if they left anything behind or if they couldn't find anything.
All right.
I'm perfectly fine with that order. I just do think we should check the windows at the end at least.
Yes. Well, we can still check the windows. I'm just like less interested in them.
So as you guys finish this thought, we are going to switch over to Leslie and Jean, who arrive in front of the Williams and Short apartment complex. It's a small beige-looking colored building. It's 2 stories high, and looks pretty unremarkable, if anything. It has about what? Let's see. It has about like 5 apartments on each floor, and there's like this like the first thing you can see, there's like a pretty shitty fence in front, and then like one of the first things you see is a very featureless wall, and then a staircase, like a kind of a metal staircase that goes up to the 2nd floor, and behind that you would know are the doors for the 1st floor apartments.
All right. Is there anything that looks like an office? Because we'd be looking for the landlord.
You would know that usually in these kind of buildings the landlord lives in apartment 1.
Just one of so.
Sorry, you cut out at the end of that.
Yeah, it would probably be apartment number 1. That is usually where the landlord lives in this situation.
So, I gesture for Dean to take the key.
Yeah, so I go knock on what I presume is the landlord's door.
You knock on the door, but there's no response.
We have an address for Nora Williams?
Yeah, Nora Williams.
I'm assuming it has an apartment number associated with it?
Yeah, number 1, she is the landlord.
Ah. Okay.
So you would know that apartment number 1 would be her apartment.
Got it. Is it the kind of thing where the apartment building has labeled parking spaces, or is there anything that would give away whether or not she's in?
No. There are like no parking spaces there at all, really. They'd have to park like in front.
Okay.
You do see that some people you do see that people are kind of like there's a parking lot next door to it, but it's not owned by the apartment, but apartment complex. It's kind of like an open parking lot for people. Oh.
Okay. Is there any giveaways? Is there like a newspaper on the stoop in front of the house or the apartment door?
There are actually a few. Like you can see that there's like a there is a basically kind of a newspaper, like a post box that is full of like newspapers and postcards. Like somebody hasn't been there for a while.
I go over and knock on one of the other apartment building doors. Like I look for some sort of signs of life. It's a Saturday early afternoon. I have to imagine there's someone in the building.
So a woman opens the door and goes like, "What do you want?" And it's like older, like in her 40s.
Early afternoon.
She's like really like dressed, like looks like she's very hungover. What do you want?
Looking for the landlord around here. Have you seen her recently?
Miss Williams? No, I haven't seen her in days, man.
Do you have a contact number for her?
Her number's on the post box. If you need to get her.
No, not what house she lives in, like a phone number.
Yeah, the phone number's on the post box.
Does she normally stay away for a few days, or she's normally living here?
She's here like a. What's it to you, man?
I'm looking for. I wanted to talk to her about something.
You're asking awful lot of questions.
Yes. I just want to talk to the landlord.
She's giving you kind of shifty eyes, but she goes like, "She's usually here though, yeah. Does like check out from time to time, maybe for a day or two, but usually she's back. I haven't seen her though for like I haven't seen her for like a couple of days, I think. I usually don't give a shit.
Right.
She just I talk to her to the end of the month, pay my rent. That's all I do. Really? I don't really give a shit.
Yep.
You can like smell. You can like smell the booze and like tobacco like off her. She's not a very wholesome person.
Yeah. Go over to the front door. Is it locked?
On Nora's apartment.
Yes,
it is.
It is locked.
It's like you like grab it and it goes like.
What's our likelihood of probable cause?
Well, she hasn't been here. Shit.
We'd essentially need to make sure that, or we'd have to think she was in immediate danger to break into her house.
Yeah.
Or with a warrant.
So, are there any other apartments that seem to be occupied? Like, currently occupied? Not is someone living there, but is someone...
Like, you think that, like, 3 of the apartments have people in them currently.
I go to another one and knock on the door.
Before it opens, I remind him that Miss Short had a roommate.
Okay.
Had a roommate?
Yeah, didn't she have a roommate?
No.
I thought you... No?
No.
Oh, my mistake then.
A younger man, like, looks to be possibly a college student. Opens the door and goes like, "What's up?"
Hey, has your landlord been around lately?
Williams? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh, okay. I was trying to find her. I've been trying to get a hold of her about lease, and she doesn't seem to be picking up, so I figured I'd swing by. I noticed a lot of papers on her doorstep. She normally take off? Absentee landlord?
I usually see her when I arrive here, like, home.
You know what she's right?
So she's usually here, like, I haven't seen her for a while.
Where does she drive?
She doesn't drive, really. She just takes a cab if she needs it.
Okay. Alright, thank you.
No problem, man.
We should probably ask one of these people which of these belong to the short.
I'm assuming at this point the place has been cleaned out. Actually, it's only been a few days. Huh?
Yeah, it's only been a few days.
I didn't think of that shit. You can have the next one.
So are all of these in a row, Godpool?
No, the one of them is on the upper floor, and you talked to the guys, to the two people on the first floor.
All right, then I go to the next one in chronological order.
So the next one would be at the end on the second floor. You open that and you see there is another man, kind of in his like mid-30s, kind of a not a clean-looking guy, but doesn't look nearly as bad as that woman at the first woman you saw. And he'd go like, and you can see like he opens the door and like just a crack on it and says like, "What do you want?"
Hi, and I pull out my FBI badge and I show it to him and I say, "Can you tell me which apartment Miss Short lived in?"
Miss Short? Who the fuck's that?
Yeah. You don't know your neighbors, do you?
Fuck those creeps. I don't give a shit about those.
Thank you for your time. And I push the door closed all the space. And I go to the next one in chronological order.
Nobody else answers. But one of the doors doesn't seem to have a number to it though. Like it has the number but no name tag to it.
All right, I try and I test the doorknob.
You test the doorknob and like it's like it's locked, but like you kind of test it and push, and you just feel the lock give. And
Does
like
the door swing open, or do
it just
I have
creaks?
to force
It just like if you let go of it, it just kind of creaks open.
I guess I call into the space. Hello?
It's dark and empty. You don't see anyone in there. And it seems to be just completely empty. You just hear like a tiny echo actually when you call in, like, hello? Hello?
Alright. I pull out my pen light and flash it around the space from where I'm standing.
Is there a smell?
You don't, like, it doesn't smell good. It smells a little bit foul in there, but like not rotting corpse foul.
Can I roll to identify smell?
Yeah.
I don't know what that is.
let's say you're doing biology.
I have
No.
a 1.
I don't think I have better.
I'm gonna give you a plus 30 on it because you're just trying to figure out like what this is just a smell. Well, you have no idea what this is. You're like, smells like shit.
No, wait, guys. It's got to be a navigation check. Follow me here. With the Fruit Loops, you got to follow your nose. So, navigation.
I still lose. Richard, I still lose.
So I would. I suspect that it's rotting food. Of some kind. So I announce myself clearly as Dr. Leslie Hart, FBI, and I enter the space.
Like once you take once you kind of step into the room, into the apartment, you get kind of a shiver down your spine as you kind of feel uncomfortable in here.
Is it cold or is it just I'm kind of creeped out?
You're kind of creeped out.
Alright,
don't know why.
Well, that's sadly par usual for me. And I square my shoulders and I continue deeper into the residence, sweeping my pen light back and forth. You want me to do like a spot hidden?
Yes, please.
Yeah, I don't think that makes it. No.
You kind of like walk into the room. You're holding your badge still up, I guess? Or do you put it away?
I probably put it away.
Okay. You kind of, like, as you're walking in, you kind of, like, you're kind of on a small hallway, and you see doors, like, you see doors, like, 2 doors at either side, and then leads into, like, what seems to be a living room area with a kitchen in it. Like, one of the rooms leads to a bathroom, and one leads to a bedroom. And, like, you kind of look into the bathroom, don't see anything, but you feel like something's like, you see something move at the corner of your eye, and you just kind of, like, jolt your head back towards the middle of the, like, to the living room area where you're standing, and you don't see anything. And you look into the, kind of like, a little bit shiftily, look into the bedroom area, and it's empty, like everything else in there.
So we're talking there's no furniture at all.
No. But when you're looking into the bedroom area, you kind of look into it, and it's empty. You do see that there's a mirror, like one of those tall floor mirrors in the room, and it's like directly ahead of the door, and you kind of look, and you kind of squint your eyes at it, and you see, it's kind of like for a moment, like as you're about to blink, you see something behind you, and you kind of like jolt and look behind you, and there's nothing there. Roll Sandy for me.
Getting twitchy, Leslie?
You're not in. You didn't say you came in.
I would have followed behind me.
You didn't say that.
You're standing in the door. You see, like, you're standing in the door. You didn't step into the door. You see it though. You take.
Yeah.
You don't take any sandy damage.
Okie dokie.
But you feel really unnerved in there. Gene, what do you want to do? Like when you see, Leslie kind of like walk in there, kind of freaking out.
Gene sort of saunters in, looking around. He's got one of those like massive maglite flashlights. It's the perp subduer.
So when you kind of like, you kind of shake your head when you see kind of Leslie kind of freak a little bit out, but when you step in, you get this really cold, like uncomfortable feeling, and you kind of feel like, yeah, shiver down your spine, and you kind of like unconsciously kind of like look behind you, like as you kind of expected something to be there, but there's not anything.
Yeah, okay, shit went down in here.
It's not cold in there. It's just like, it's kind of a uncomfortable feeling you get when you go in there.
Yep.
You haven't. Both of you have never quite experienced anything like this.
Can I pull a spot hidden?
Yes, you can. Do you want to walk down the hallway as you do that? Leslie is kind of walking into the living room area.
Yeah, sure. So I passed. I have a 63.
Okay. So as you're walking, you kind of walk, like you notice that like Leslie didn't really go into the bathroom, and kind of nervously you kind of like creak the door to the bathroom properly open, and you kind of step in and you kind of look around. You see it's not a very big bathroom. It's kind of small, and like as you're looking, you kind of like you see that, and before you kind of like. You see that the mirror is kind of like it's a like a mirror cabin, and you open the mirror cabin, you kind of check out, and there's nothing inside. And when you close it, you see for a moment, like an unfocused like figure behind you. And you see, like, as if, like, its arms are around your neck about to choke you. And you kind of, like, freak the fuck out as you roll Sandy.
Nope.
Okay.
55. Or I have a 55.
So you take 2 points of Sandy damage as you kind of, like, you jolt and you turn around and you kind of, like, smash into, like... into the cabin and the kind of sink below it, and Leslie, you hear like the sound of a mirror breaking in the other, like coming from the bathroom area, and Gene, you freak the fuck out.
Gene's like holding the flashlight sort of at shoulder height, backwards, and he more or less puts the flashlight right through the mirror. Like, just a solid punch into it.
Yeah.
As he flailed backwards.
Do you want to drop out of the bathroom as you like smash the mirror and you just like kind of back out of it?
So he smashes the mirror and like takes a step back, but he's still in the bathroom.
Yeah.
Sort of like in the doorway.
Yeah. So yeah, you kind of stumble a little bit backward, and you almost like fall backwards, and you kind of grab like you manage to grab yourself up on the frame of the door.
Yeah, and Leslie hears him just scream, "Son of a bitch!"
So I rush over.
Yeah, you freak out. You freak out, Leslie, when you hear him like shout out.
Yeah.
Sorry, there must have been some water on the floor. I slipped.
You kind of look down. There's no water on the floor.
But save face. I nod and hold out a hand to help him to his feet.
Yeah, you kind of like help him support himself properly. Like he's kind of hanging in the door frame, but yeah, you help him up properly.
Is there anything in the bathroom?
Nope. There's a broken mirror there. And nothing else that you see.
No suspicious staining in the bathtub?
Nope.
Skid marks on the toilet.
I mean, there are skid marks, but you know, this is not a like. You do see like the tub is very old, and the toilet bowl and like the everything is pretty old in there. Probably not kept very well in good shape, but other than that, it's fine. Like it's not like you wouldn't think that this is a place where they killed someone from looking how you look at it. Mm. It's clean enough.
Do you want to make an occult roll?
Yeah, I was gonna ask for that. Can I make an occult roll?
You can. But what do you on the thing that just happened?
On the thing that just happened. You know, just one of those weird, like, on surface, sure, you could convince Gene that maybe this is some sort of, you know, latent haunting or something. Nope.
You kind of still like freak. You have no idea like what that was. You kind of think of it as a kind of a trick of the mind. You kind of go. You feel like you kind of go and say like, I must be too I must be stressed with all this Horrell's bullshit. It's kind of what you think to yourself.
Yeah, there was something in the eyes that I was convinced that Horrell's was standing behind me.
Yeah, you kind of like, and kind of like you kind of start to feel like as if you kind of filled the gaps yourself, with like trying to figure out what it is, and you just kind of start to feel like that was holes behind you. Not this unfocused image, but like the more you think about it, the more you kind of feel as if Holes was the one grabbing your neck.
All right, I can I do a roll for psychology on Gene?
Yes, you can. He does seem to be very unnerved, more so than
psychoanalysis.
Yeah, he seems to be way more nervous than you currently, and kind of unstable. But he's hiding it. Ooh, that's a crit. You can mark that one.
Which one were you rolling?
I was writing
psychology.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, looking at Gene. Gene, describe how you're feeling currently. You are basically you are nervous and feeling like, yeah. But describe how you feel currently.
Just sort of a little bit shaken up by that. There's a little bit of that latent anger at Horrells just sort of near the surface, but mostly just sort of spooked and trying to process through what's happened. Really don't want to be in here right now anymore.
Yeah, you can you can see like a little bit of sweat going down his brow.
All right,
like a
I
cold
put my
sweat.
hand on his shoulder.
You can kind of feel like a little bit of cold sweat yourself.
Yeah, I get that. So I say to him, why don't you continue questioning the neighbors? I don't think you're going to get anywhere asking about the landlord. She's clearly not here. Unless you want to break down her door. I don't think we're going to get anything, but if you could ask about Elizabeth Short, or even get there's no furniture in here. They must have cleaned this out super quick. Ask for any suspicious activity. You know, you do your job best, and I'm slowly guiding him towards the door. I'm just gonna finish up in here. I'll be right behind you.
So you kind of
this thing. Gene would rather be in here with whatever the fuck that is, and not alone. So he blows it off and goes, we'll stick together. We'll just finish up in here, and then we'll keep going.
With your psychology check, you can tell that like Gene doesn't really want to be alone. Like you can still like kind of get that idea of him.
All right, so
it's just Gene's got like a bad feeling, like, you know, there's something in the back of his mind that says being alone right now is a good way to get dead.
So using my psychology, can I tell whether or not a joke will land well?
Oh, you would be able to do that because you critted it. So yeah, you would be able to do that.
So,
Gene, would you like a joke right now or not?
No.
Yeah, you can tell he does not want to joke around right now.
Gene's not in a dark place yet, but he's close to one.
All right, so I say, all right. And then I turn around and I look over my shoulder and I say, don't drink any of Richard's booze. And I turn back around and head into the next room.
So you want to walk into the bedroom?
No, I have turned around so my back is facing you, and then I turn my head to look.
I thought you said like you were looking behind Gene, which will freak him the fuck out.
No.
So, do you want to walk into the bedroom or into the living room area?
I want to walk into the bedroom.
Okay, so you walk into the bedroom, and Gene, are you gonna stay close to?
Half of a second. Gene walks over, closes the door most of the way, but wedges a piece of glass from the mirror in between the door and the jamb, so if anyone tried to follow him behind us, we'd hear the crack of the mirror.
Into the building?
Huh?
Into the apartment?
Yes.
Okay. So the apartment door is like very, very like almost closed, but the mirror shard is like keeping it open.
Yeah, we'd hear the grinding of the glass and then the snap if someone tried to follow us or tried to come in.
Yeah. So you walk into this bedroom, and like you aren't feeling any better in here. Jean, obviously,
where the smell is coming from?
It kind of feels like the smell is coming from like almost everywhere in the room. It's a little bit stronger in here than it was like in the hallway, but yeah. You notice immediately that like Jean is like obviously kind of like nervously sweating as he's standing in there. You kind of notice that you're like again have like a cold sweat on your brow, and like you can't really shake off this like uncomfortable feeling like somebody's watching you.
So, is there a window in here?
No.
Are we on the first floor or the second?
Second floor.
Okay.
The only window that you have seen was the window at the other end of the on the other end. Oh wait, yeah, actually there is a like a closed window in the bedroom, yeah. But the only other window that you did see was the window all the way at the other end in the living room, kitchen area.
All right, so I go over and I open the window and look out of it to see what's on the other side.
So you just see the railing of the like walkway, and the walkway itself. It just like it shows you the front of the like where you would see people walking past it if they needed to go to the apartments like further down. This is like the apartment, not the one at the end like where the stairs are, but the one next to that.
All right.
It's like that almost like it's the second apartment that you would find when you go upstairs.
All
Apartment
right,
number
and there's
7.
no like I can't see like across the street if there's anything.
No, there. You'd see like the house, like what you would see is like a tree and then the house ahead, like directly in front of it. This house is like sideways, so the first thing you'd see when you'd come towards it, like from the street, is like a pretty bland side, like 2 windows, like one above, one below, and just a blank wall, really. For you guys,
right,
so... I will send you the coordinates to it so you can actually see how it looks.
So while Jean is getting that up, I look around the bedroom.
It's empty. You can see that there's obviously some mold in there. It has obviously not seen some proper use in a while.
Is there carpet on the floor?
So you were carpet on the walls.
Why
would I say that?
I don't know.
I would say that there is carpet on floors, yeah.
Okay, I get down on my hands and knees and I sniff at the carpet.
It smells like absolute shit. You like shudder like after you smell it, like you almost kind of vomit. You're like,
Leslie, why are you huffing on the floor?
Oh god, oh god.
You're not going to make it smell better that way.
So I managed not to vomit.
yeah.
But I say...
Roll
shit,
for barf
shit,
resistance.
Shit. What?
Roll for barf resist. Lisa posted that.
What would that be under Constitution?
That would be your Constitution times 5. So your Constitution save would be, Leslie Hart, you have the Constitution of 12, which would be time. So you would have 60 on it. So yeah, you would make it.
All right. So I do manage not to puke.
Yeah, you kind of keep.
I look up at Jean. I said, "Get in here. You start pulling up that corner. I'll start pulling up this corner."
Jean just looks at you, just like completely. No, you're kidding me, right?
There could be evidence under the floor. If there is, it is the only thing that we have left in this apartment.
You want to make a call first before you rip up someone?
Yeah, sure. Go outside. There's a payphone to call the boss. So I will.
The silence was great. Just looked at him.
Jean's just like leaning. Jean's still shook up, leaning against a door frame, trying to process this.
So I crawl around on my hands and knees, looking at like the door where the carpet might have like naturally started to come up, or like by the closet.
What type of heat? Is it baseboards?
What? Can you repeat that?
What kind of heating's in the apartment? Is it baseboards?
It's one of those like old radiator heatings.
Start from there.
All right, I would start at the I would look at like the bottom of the radiator or by the door for anywhere that it would look like.
There's a radiator basically underneath the window itself.
Yeah.
And you
anywhere
kind of
that the carpet might be a little looser.
Yeah, it's looser there. Jean, the window, the mirror in the room, like that is freaking you the fuck out. You don't want to go anywhere close to that.
There's a mirror in the bedroom.
Yeah, there's one that was directly in front of the door. Like you are making all effort to not look at that mirror.
Yep.
So for this duration, you're gonna have a phobia of mirrors.
Okay.
Well, at least while you're in here, whether or not something else happens might make that permanent.
So I start pulling up the loose section of carpet and see what's beneath.
Now,
yeah, Jean's sort of leaning against the door frame, trying to process what the hell is going on.
So I'm very careful. I've pulled up carpet before. I know not. I can like pull it up without ripping it, so I can sort of put it back.
I did notice that you said that you don't put gloves on, so when you touch the carpet, you just get this like feeling. It's like it's a little bit moisty and just like feels sturdy, and you feel like it's just like a little bit coming apart just by you touching it, like.
Can I roll idea?
Yes, you can. What are you trying to figure out with it?
I believe I
think that's a hard.
Yeah, but what are you trying to figure out with it?
I'm trying to figure out if what I'm doing will be fruitful, or even has the potential to be fruitful, or if we should get the fuck out.
You think that if this is connected to the case and has, like, with how shitty that smelled, like this is probably the closest you've come to anything that, like, might possibly be similar to, like, a murder scene, just with how the smell is, how awful the smell is. But, you have no way of being sure this place is, like, it's sturdy, but it's, like, it has no evidence of a murder or anything, like, happening here. And, like, this could be, like, the smell that you're smelling could be basically, like, blood and shit that it's just gone into the carpet and just, like, been there for days in this kind of, like, hot, moist room, like, a little bit moist room. Or this could just be a very old, moldy piece of shit room. That doesn't explain why it feels really uncomfortable to be in there. But,
Alright. So
Jean, just before we continue with you, Leslie. Jean, like, you're avoiding this mirror, but you feel like this mirror is looking at you.
How many rooms are in this apartment?
3. The bathroom, the bedroom, and the living room, and then the hallway.
the mirror's hung on the wall, or the mirror's
It's
freestanding?
it's a freestanding mirror. You just kind of feel like really nervous with this like mirror kind of looking at you. It's kind of like it's staring at you.
Yeah, Jean gets behind the mirror and removes it from the room and puts it in the bathroom.
Okay. When you very reluctantly touch the mirror. I want you to roll Sandy whether or not you touch it.
But I'm behind it.
Yeah.
I'm not looking at it.
Yeah, you're not looking at it, no.
That would be a fail.
So you like try to grab it, like you just know that this is a mirror, and you kind of very much so don't want to touch it. And by how much did you fail?
I failed by 6.
Okay, so you kind of like decide to kind of like suffer through it. It's kind of worth it. So you grab it, but you get this like immense uncomfortable feeling through you, and you lose a Sandy point, but you manage to get the mirror out of the room into the bathroom,
okay.
And you just close it, and like you feel your heart, like you felt like as if time was going really slow when you were holding it. You could just feel your heartbeat like go.
So does Leslie actually notice this going on, or are you two into the carpet thing?
So from what I got from my idea roll, I have stopped what I'm doing on the carpet.
Yeah, you're kind of looking up when you see Jean kind of walk into the room again. You see the mirror is gone, but you see like he is very sweaty right now. He kind of like leans up against the like door frame, kind of like lets out a deep breath.
It doesn't look like I've moved, like I'm still against the door frame.
Yeah, but the mirror isn't in there anymore, and he looks like he's more tired than he was a moment ago.
Hello? You cut out.
It looks like you're a lot more tired than you were a moment ago. Like you feel like you just kind of like moved, like pushed a truck up a hill kind of moment.
Yep.
Alright, I stand up and I look at my palms. Is there anything on my palms?
You see disgusting mold and some sorts of stuff that you just don't know what is right now on your hands. Like
and it's all in like funny symbols that you can't decipher.
Alright, so
So Gene knows at this point that he has a knife and a pair of gloves in the car. He also understands if he leaves, he will not re-enter, and he cannot admit to Leslie that if he leaves, he will not re-enter. And he will not be alone, or he will just fucking lose it.
So essentially, I walk as calmly as I can to the nearest sink, whether that is in the kitchen or the bathroom or wherever the nearest sink is.
That would be in the bathroom.
All right, I turn on the sink.
There's a mirror in the way.
Yeah, there's a mirror. Like you open the door, and the first thing you see is a mirror.
The back of the mirror is fake.
You are not expecting that. Like, thankfully, it's not the front of the mirror, because I would have made you roll a Sandy check if it was that, because you would have freaked the fuck out in this room. But you open the door kind of into the mirror, and you just like it kind of falls into and like breaks, and you hear like the shattering sounds. And Jean, you don't need to roll anything, but you do kind of like jump up to it, like ah, shit.
Okay.
So I step over or push out of the way anything that remains to get to the sink.
You the mirror is like broken. There's glass all like mirror shards all over the place, and you kind of like move it. There's a lot of mirror shards in the like sink itself. Do you want to like move it out?
Nope. I'm going to like reach with my wrist.
Is this that story we heard about the house that got foreclosed and they shattered all the toilets and put the shards down all the pipes?
So I turn on the water with my wrist.
So you see for a moment, like, there comes some clear water out of it for a moment. And, like, as you put your hands under it to clean your hands, you see, like, just a, like, it kind of, like, spits out, like, this brown shit water for a moment. And you're like, ah, God! And it's, like, brown for a moment, and you kind of freak out. And, like, you're looking at it, and for a moment, it looks like it's just turning red. And you're like... And you kind of get a stare, like you can't take your eyes away from it, and you just kind of start to shake. And I want you to roll a sandy check.
I'm still washing my hands to get.
Yeah, your hands are like still kind of in this, and you just see your hands get like full, like bloody, and you see,
Yay!
you feel as if the room, yeah, you feel as the room is kind of like closing in on you, kind of like as if it's about to like consume you itself. And you kind of like snap out of it. You do take a sandy damage from this though. A single point. And you kind of snap out of it, and you just kind of back away from it with your hands like all covered in like your hands look clean actually. And they don't, like, you look and you feel your hands are dirty. Like the water was dirty, but like kind of disgusting shit water. But like you don't have blood on it, and you're just like shaking.
So
and at this point, Jean sort of comes out of it a little bit and realizes that the water's on. And with all the other weird shit that's been going on, he goes to check on it. Because the last time he remembers running water and bad shit goes down, it was the Aggie's apartment. So he didn't really recognize Leslie leaving the room.
Yeah. He
was jumped by the mirror, and then he's like, there's running water, and it just created sort of a fight or flight response.
So I turned the water off with my wrist again and walked out of the apartment.
Jean follows.
So you kind of walked into the like bathroom while Leslie was a little bit horrified in there, and you just
I didn't walk into the bathroom.
Okay.
Just seeing where the running water was coming from.
Okay. You do not want to check out the living room?
Nope.
Yeah. So
at this point.
So Jean, you kind of like, as you're standing in the door for like the bedroom, you just see Leslie just kind of walk out with his hands up.
I just look around.
Yeah.
I don't go in anywhere necessarily, but I look around.
Yeah.
Spot hidden.
Yeah, but just before you do that, you see Leslie kind of walking with his hands up, and you can see they're dirty. Like they have the dirt from like touching that carpet, but it's also like has some brown liquid on it and stuff, and he just walks out, like doesn't say anything, just walks out. And yeah, you can kind of roll a spot hidden if you want before you leave. Like, you're looking at the door.
Yep.
So you notice that the glass shard that you used to close the door is closed, and you don't see the glass shard.
Okay.
This is just, you managed to be calm enough to notice this.
So, sorry. As Leslie leaves, the door was fully shut.
Yeah. Leslie,
before Leslie opens the door.
Yeah. Leslie, you didn't tell Leslie that there was a glass shard there, so Leslie didn't know about it. But Leslie, like, exits the door, but you notice this immediately. You kind of freaked out. You really want to know where that mirror shard went. You don't want to not know where that mirror shard is.
I don't want to go look for it worse.
Yeah.
Anything on the living room?
You don't go into it, so you don't see anything that kind of stands out to you. But you see kind of the like dust.
Not at risk. Sorry, not at risk. Can I roll sanity whether or not I can get my shit together long enough to check out cursory the living room, or if I just need to get out?
Yes, I'm gonna allow you to roll sanity to see if you can hold your shit long enough to actually check. No.
No, I get the fuck out.
You like think for it a moment, but like the creeping like sensation of what just happened just crawls up you, and you kind of like You feel like just
the idea of the door closing behind Leslie and leaving me in this apartment
it's just too much for you to handle.
Not going to fly.
And just like you see the door like slightly start to close, and you just kind of like almost run out of the room, and you just like kind of slam the door behind you. And as you see the kind of like Leslie kind of walk down the stairs.
Can I tell if Leslie's all fucked up from that experience?
You can easily tell that he's fucked up. You don't need to roll anything for that, but if you want to see how fucked up, you would have to roll psychology.
I do or I don't?
You do if you want to see how fucked up.
Oh, I don't. Yeah, I'll roll psychology, sure.
Oh, do you succeed?
Hard success.
Sweet. So, Leslie, please describe how you are feeling currently for Jean.
So my brain is only processing right now that my hands are filthy. I am panicked not by necessarily being watched in the room or the creepy shit in the room, but the fact that I'm like the out this damned spot type freaking out because I can't get my hands clean.
Yeah.
So Jean walks up behind you and puts a hand on your shoulder, like firmly, but not like tapping you on the shoulder, but like firmly grasps your shoulder, and then reaches into your pocket and takes the keys for the car.
So I look at him and I say, do you still have Richard's flask in your pocket?
So when you like kind of look at each other, you can both see that you're both are sweating currently. Like and this is just cold sweat, nothing else.
I don't say anything. I get in the car.
Wait, we're on the second floor, aren't we?
Oh, I thought
you were walking down the stairs basically when Jean came out. So he probably walked up to you like
all
down.
Right, because if that's the case, I hold out my hands and I say, if you have the flask, can you pour it on my hands?
And I think about it for a second because it sounds like a really good idea to finish off that flask right now.
Because yeah, you both are kind of feeling like you both kind of want to take a sip from it just after this shit, but
So I reach in my pocket and pull out the flask and look at it. I pop the thing off and I take a drink, and then more or less I hold the flask up for Leslie to take a drink if he wants it.
I put my hands under the nozzle.
Oh no, like I offer you a drink before I pour it on your hands.
Fine, I take a small sip.
And then I pour the rest on your hands.
And I scrub. I rub my hands together using like all of the alcohol.
Yeah, you rub your hands so thoroughly that your hands start to like hurt a little bit afterwards.
That's fine with me.
And
as long as it's clean.
You feel though that the sip did kind of like it didn't do a lot, but it did help you like calm your nerves a little bit. You feel like you can actually like kind of breathe like a little bit normally now.
All right.
You made sure there was about, a good swig or two left in there.
Yeah, they're like you could take there's a little bit left like to actually like take a little bit of drink.
As Leslie scrubs his hands, Jean turns around and finishes it off.
So at this point, we're heading down the stairs. I walk around looking for a nozzle or a water hose, something that would be used to like water the plants or wash cars.
So as you kind of like look around for this, you don't see any anything that you could use for it. But at this point, we are going to jump to Lisa and Richard, who are currently standing in the Underwood apartment.
Okay. So, I'm still, like... Can I do, like, a spot hidden to start looking... Oh, actually, no. what I want to do is, if I don't have it on me, go get whatever like basic fingerprint powder that I have, in either in the car or with me.
You would have basically a very you would not have a proper fingerprint gear. You would have like a very basic gear. You could use that if you wanted to just dust for prints if you wanted, but like you don't have the like proper stuff to like. You don't have the proper stuff to like take it and store it, basically.
Yeah.
Are you sure we don't want to borrow Joshua for that? I mean, we have him available.
What I want to do is before the expert comes, dust for prints on the television. Just like on the back of the television, where the cables are and such, and just see if there's anything there that might like get destroyed if the expert comes and fiddles with the TV.
My only concern, I just want to ask, Godpool, would her fingerprinting, if we use Joshua real quick, would hers mess up his?
If she attempts to take fingerprints, then yes.
Well,
because he has like a specialist kit, and like if she would attempt to like fingerprint it and take the prints, like a copy of them, that would fuck up the fingerprints on the TV. Like you would have fingerprints of it.
I don't want to like try and lift them. I just want to see if there's any there. Would that screw it up? If I just like
if you just powder it, you might be fine. But like, if the expert comes around and like starts to like fiddle around with the TV, that could fuck up the TV. If you want to fingerprint it, you could either do it yourself now with the basic gear that you have, or you might want to get Joshua to do it for you real quick, because he can do that right now.
Since he could lift it too.
Will that take longer than the expert takes to show up, do you think?
He would probably not take very long. I mean, he would probably take like 10 minutes to dust the whole TV for it.
Okay, in that case...
The expert would be probably arriving around the time he's finishing, or like a little bit before he finished. But I mean, he can wait a couple of minutes for him to finish fingerprinting it.
In that case, I would run this by Richard to see his opinion.
Yeah, let's get Joshua. We can have him do this part real quick before we do anything else.
Yeah,
that way, it's out of the way, and the electrician can do his thing once he gets here.
Yeah, and we can ask him to do the tape too.
Yes. Let him do the TV first, that way, in case the expert gets here before he's done, and then have him do that tape area.
Yeah. So, do you want to get him, or should I?
I can go get him.
Okay.
So, Richard...
Continue...
Yep.
I'll continue, like, with gloves on, like, opening drawers and rifling through things.
Okay. So, Richard, you jump down the stairs, and you manage to kind of quickly find Jensen. He's basically just like kind of in the front of the house, like in the entrance of the apartment, just kind of like monitoring things, kind of making sure everything's going like moving along, just overseeing it generally.
Right.
You can see that there are more detectives here, but they're all like answering to his, because this is his case. And you see. He's basically not too busy right now. He's just like talking to an officer about something.
Detective.
He goes, Agent, what can I do for you?
We have an expert coming in to take a look at a TV for us, but before he got to touch it, I did want to borrow Joshua real quick to have him get a couple fingerprints, possibly see if there's anything to lift just before he starts messing with things.
All right. I got him. He's probably gonna finish up some stuff down there before he comes up. He shouldn't be too long.
All right. We might be able to. Our electrician that's coming over, he won't have too much time. So, if Joshua can get up there as soon as possible, that'd be appreciated.
No problem. And he jumps down, and you kind of go back upstairs. And Lisa, while he's downstairs, you kind of like go through. You want to go through some drawers there.
Yeah, I'm basically looking for anything that would be related to our work, or and also for like false bottoms in drawers, or like any like checking the tops, just basically like checking every bad B movie, hiding trope.
So there's like in the living room, because that's where you are right now.
Yeah.
There are a few drawers there, just like from a countertop or something like that she has. Like she has like a tiny counter thing that she has like a bowl where she keeps like her keys and stuff in. And there are like 2 drawers there, and then there's like a basically a where you'd keep like some of your, there's a cupboard area. What are they called? The big kind of like cupboards with like a lot of drawers in them and stuff like that. There's like one of those there, and you kind of like check through that. So roll for the first cupboard, like the one with 2 drawers. Roll spot hidden.
Okay.
Unless you want to roll something else, you just have to tell me what it is.
I don't think I have anything that would apply. I mean, if it's not locked or anything, I think
it's not locked.
Okay. That's best.
Sweet. So you kind of open this up and you look thoroughly around in there, and you don't notice anything like out of the ordinary in like the lower drawer.
Mm-hmm.
In the upper floor, the only thing you find like really of interest that you think connects to the case is a photograph of like the first crime scene.
I'm not just looking like for things that relate to the case. I'm looking for things that relate to her work at all.
Yeah. This is the thing you found like out of like that caught your eye in that one.
Okay.
And this is you think that this is one of the first photos from it? You see that on this picture there are not a lot of people. It's only like the police officers kind of and there's kind of a cut off like the police area, and then there are like a few people around that are not police, like civilians. No other like obvious reporters on this picture. And you can see the body of like of Miss Short on the picture. It's not a great photo of it, but it's you think that this is probably one of the first photos that were taken on the crime scene itself.
Okay. In that case, I would pick it up and gently, like, I have gloves on, pick it up by, like, the smallest corner and gently place it into an evidence bag.
All right.
And can basically continue looking, if I manage to fully look through the living room and not find anything, just continue to sort of rifle through any cabinets or drawers or anything that I found that is not in plain sight.
Found in Underwood's apartment. Now, if you want to check for the cupboard, you're going to have to roll spot hidden for there.
Okay.
But then you
I
can
want to
roll
check everywhere.
Yeah, then you can roll spot hidden just to kind of like check over the room. Like, I'm guessing you're not going like very thoroughly while you're waiting for Richard.
No, I'm going really thoroughly.
Oh, really thoroughly. So like when you're starting to do this, like Richard's like Richard is kind of arriving when you're starting to go through this cupboard.
If the expert isn't here yet, Richard's got the fingerprint dude taking care of the TV. I'm like focusing. If they don't need me or if they're not engaging me, I'm focusing on.
Richard kind of walks into the living room, and you kind of like peek back and you see him, and but he's alone currently, at least.
So, when he comes back, I will like show him the baggie that contains the photograph, and hand it over for him to see.
All right, describe the photograph one more time for me.
It is one of the first photographs taken from the. It seems to be one of the first photographs taken from the Short crime scene. The body of Short is somewhat in the center of the picture. There are a few police officers there, and you can see two or three civilians there. Probably, and you think that one of the civilians is probably the one that discovered the body. And this picture looks to be kind of like the first images, like photographs taken, because there's almost nobody, and you can kind of tell by the lighting of the picture that this is very early in the morning. And
I mentioned to him that I didn't fingerprint the picture, so hold it by the plastic baggie.
Yeah,
That I didn't take it out.
but yeah,
Okay.
it looks like one of the first pictures taken.
Just on a dumb little thing. Turn it over. Is there anything written on the back?
The date. The date of when the picture was taken. And let's see. Oh, I had already had written down where the LAPD station was located. How cool am I? Let's see. I'll tell you what the time is on the picture in a moment. It says the 15th of January 1947, and it says it's about 10:47 a.m.
Okay. I hand it back to Lisa.
She puts it back in her little evidence bag.
So you're wondering what just happened. We're live, by the way, guys. So apparently, some sort of technical difficulty came up. I have no idea what happened. It just cut the feed at like when she was checking out the picture with the stuff with the date on it. In case the date didn't say anything, it was on the back of the picture. It said January 15, 1947 at 10:47 a.m. And Richard and Lisa, can you kind of slightly recap what happened in the last few minutes?
Boom.
Yeah. So basically, what happened is that they got Joshua up here to fingerprint the room, fingerprint the TV and the door frame, and he bagged that for evidence. Harold Richardson, the expert that they called in, arrived, and he started checking out the TV, and he discovered that there was something. The box on the back of the TV was missing, and Lisa, being really pissed off, stormed downstairs to get the battery from her car, because they could use that to power the TV for just a moment, kind of jury-rig it, to see if they could get any information from it. Jensen was up there with them because he arrived with he escorted Mr. Richardson up there to help them. And after they managed to jury-rig this together, they turned on the TV, didn't notice anything, and then it exploded. Like, the front of the TV exploded forward. And it was not like a massive explosion. It's not. It was due to basically it short-circuited and the bulb just couldn't handle it and exploded violently. So, Lisa and Richard did not notice this happening, but Richardson did, and managed to help them out and save them from the blast, which resulted in them getting. They took 1 point of damage, and he took 2, and he has like a large piece of glass, like TV sharp, like in his back.
And Lisa had a temper tantrum.
Yeah, Lisa had a temper tantrum. She's like really pissed about the evidence being tampered with. And I want you guys to kind of like fill in stuff that I'm missing out here. So let's start with you, Lisa. Let's start with you.
Lisa is now thoroughly convinced that it's an inside job because her tape was tampered with and the box was stolen and now the TV blew up. And so she is incredibly angry. And so she went downstairs to get a full list of everyone who's ever been in the Elizabeth's short, in the entire history of the case, anyone who's ever been, like, involved in the case who has also been, you know, through this police barricade for the arson.
You also got some like before this happened, you also got some information about the cases like that she has been reporting on before.
Yeah, I also made a list of all of the murder victims in all of the cases that she has been reporting on. I actually should go back and probably like get the names of all of the murderers. I should do that sometime. But she went down. She was really mean to some police officer, and or she's just like grumping at the police officers in general because she's pissed off, and she made sure that there would be, you know, made sure that the expert got medical care, and then came back up to talk to Richard.
And Richard, what do you want to add into this?
Well, Richard, of course, as always, keeping, except, in the sight of mutilated bodies, keeping his cool head, and is thinking that there's still more to search out before jumping to the whole insider job. That's his thought process on it. And so he's not entirely convinced that everything is 100% pointing to it, and so he's always going for the small percentage that it could be something else. And that's why he's going to be searching for the balcony. As for...
Yeah, the fire escape, basically.
Yeah, fire escape. And there's still plenty to look out in this room. But he, being that he does know about the other stuff they've dealt with in the police, that's why he's being really thorough on any piece of evidence that's being tagged. As much as he enjoys having a detective or someone local that seems friendly enough, he's being friendly back because there's no point to be his opinion is there's no point to be a dick until it's time to be. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because, hey, we can't all four of us be dicks.
Did you, was there anything special that you did in this time that you kind of want to mention? From when you discovered the photograph. You ran down to get Joshua.
Yeah, I went down to get Joshua. I pointed out to get the fingerprints on the door. Basically, he was pointing out where to finger dust.
Yeah.
And... that's really it. He's still in the observation mode.
I think that covers everything like that and everything of importance that happened. Again, sorry for that happening. I don't even know why that happened. So I didn't even touch the keyboard, so it wasn't me. But picking up again where we abruptly discovered this, we didn't go very far. So. The TV is smoking from the explosion. Mr. Richardson has been escorted out and is being driven to the hospital. And you were about to roll a spot hidden with a +20 because you're going to take your time examining the window that leads to the fire escape. And I had just told you that it would, like around halfway point through that, like Lisa would be arriving in the apartment again, kind of still fuming.
What was that?
Lisa would be arriving like halfway through your like examining of the window, like when, and she'd still be kind of fuming when she arrives.
All right.
So let's roll for that. Oh boy!
Come on.
You
Can I luck roll to
Yeah.
get my one to? Ugh. Good
You can
God.
use your one luck roll for this.
For this day. All right.
Roll for roll inversion.
Do what?
You can roll now. If you're luck.
Oh,
Huh.
I was.
I'm just joking. Roll to invert all your rolls.
Yeah, I've done 100, a 98. I'm like, what the? A 93? I am rolling high today. This is stupid. All right. Luck plus 20.
The broken mirror has affected us
Come
all
on.
oppositely. Whereas you guys are rolling bad and I'm rolling good.
Yeah,
Nope.
you're having a.
I'm having great ideas. I just my character sheet can't follow through.
Mm-hmm.
Character sheet and dice can't follow through. So, if Lisa sees what I'm doing and wants to back me up, then by all means.
So like you arrive, like Lisa went like halfway through this, and you see that Richard's having like he's doing a like he seems to be examining the window, but he seems to be doing it really poorly. Like at least
Maybe
seems,
he still has like shards of glass
yeah,
in his cheek or something.
You can see like he's a little bit like has a few cuts on his face, like a shirt, and you think like he had a concussion yesterday, and this happened today. This has not been a good day for Richard. So you think
Okay,
like
in that case, she would take another deep breath and go. Also, look at what he's.
yeah. So Lisa, you can roll like you kind of arrive there to help him, and you can roll spot hidden, and you get a plus 20, not because you're taking your time, but because Richard is helping you.
Okay. Ow! That's 77.
Do you want to use your luck roll for this as well?
Hold on. What is my spot hidden?
Not that good, trust me.
My
That's-
spot hidden is 60. I might have passed it. Anyway,
Oh, really? It's 60? Damn.
yeah. So I don't see anything. I'm not really like I don't know what he's looking for, so I don't really see anything out of the ordinary.
But do you want to use your luck roll to help him more, like to attempt it again with the luck? Your luck is 40, so
Okay.
you can also ask him what you're looking for. That would help. Maybe
First,
help
I'm gonna ask him like what's the idea here?
Alright, so we know something was tampered with. We know the tape was tampered with. That's not a guarantee that that's the direction. That could still be a bait and switch. I'm looking for fibers, cuts, scuffs, anything that would... that kind of stuff.
Well, we already
for-
know, even if the person who did, who took the box and tampered with the television, even if he didn't come through that way, the police tape was tampered with, so at least someone came through that way.
No, and I understand that, but I'm exploring all avenues because this is another way that's easily accessible.
Okay.
And
Can
I'm
I
just looking
roll?
for
Can
entry.
I roll an idea roll instead to see, is there a gut roll?
idea
I
would be
rolled
that. But again, Lisa, just for you, because you have your like character sheet on Roll20, you should be able to tick the you see the tick boxes on your character sheet. You can tick those if you like crit on them.
I had no ideas what those boxes meant.
Well, now you know.
Yeah. Can I roll idea to see like how strong I think that theory is? Like how much I
Yeah, you
like,
can
is there a
like
way
roll
to
for an
roll?
idea to see what your gut tells you.
yeah.
This concussion is bullshit.
Medical problem is bullshit.
I'm having my brain's having a shit day.
Okay.
Yeah, you get that
Oh,
easily.
damn it. Oh yeah, it's idea, not luck. Awesome. So,
Yeah.
What does my gut say?
So, so your gut tells you, your gut kind of tells you that, yeah, this is, like, that's not a bad idea, actually, to check this window to see if there's anything, like, if this is a bait and switch with the door. Like, if somebody just fucked with the tape and didn't actually enter through there.
Okay. In that case, I'm gonna like take a moment to sort of internalize that thought, and I'll roll again with luck.
Okay, so you're gonna roll luck this time.
Yeah.
And you don't have the plus on that.
Yeah. Oh.
Well
Nice.
done. So you managed to notice that like somebody has recently used this window, like within a few days. There is a hint of like somebody opening the window and going through it. Like, and you notice like, and you kind of get it from like, there's not a lot of dust on the window, but you can kind of get it from like the dust that is there, and kind of how like it seems like the person that went through it kind of like accidentally kind of like chipped the wood a little bit. So it's obvious that somebody has gone through this window. You can't tell if it's in to the apartment building or out of the apartment building, though.
Okay. Is there anything like with that? Can I look like out a little and see if the fire escape looks different from how they usually are? Like, are the ladders down or anything?
The ladder is down. That is what you would also get. Like you just kind of like you can open the window really carefully and kind of poke out now, and you look around, and you see that the ladder is down. You're not sure if basically fingerprinting this would do anything for you, because from how this whole situation has been, like you feel like you'd probably get just a lot of Underwood's prints from there.
Yeah. Silk gloves and all of that.
Yeah.
So I'd point all this out to him, and I'd tell him he made a good call.
Yeah.
And
this was like a really like difficult thing to see because you guys fucked up so bad. Like it was like this is like stuff that was not obvious at all. It was like, oh.
Yeah, I'm rubbing my head and I'm going, thanks, Lisa. My gut's telling me the right things, but my head can't follow along today.
I tell him we should get him a new hat.
Oh, I'm getting mine back tonight. I do make a suggestion. All right, so we've searched the living room. We still got plenty of other rooms to search. Why don't we start doing a thorough rundown of this entire place? I'll look for the things that I'm kind of looking for. You look for the stuff you're kind of looking for from the start.
Yeah.
And then we can cross. Yeah, then we can cross back over each other and kind of back each other up and do a reverse opposite.
Yeah.
So as you start to do that, we're gonna cut back to Jean and Leslie.
Thank God. I'm tired of rolling.
I don't know what you're talking about. I had a great time.
Shut up, Lisa.
Jean.
Don't worry, Richard. The idiot ballroom moves
Oh my
around the
God.
group.
That desperate like shut up, Lisa was beautiful. Oh my God, I just like I love that. That was my favorite. Shut up, Lisa. I'm tired of rolling. Jean and Leslie, you guys are sitting in the car currently.
Wait, right before I get in the car, I have a thought. I reach into my pocket, pull out my handkerchief, and quickly run back to the door we assumed that was missed short, and like wipe the handle down for prints with the handkerchief.
Yep, you can do that.
All right.
You still feel like your hands are really dirty, even though you sterilized them.
With alcohol. So I'll have to deal with that. So I'm freaking out.
Yeah,
but,
both of you are sitting like in the car, kind of freaking out. I'm guessing you're sitting like in the back, more like to kind of like just take a moment. Like this is not like, because you still have like stuff that you wanted to check out there, but you're like, you needed to take just a moment to chill. So you're sitting in the backseat of the car, and you're just like, Leslie, you're kind of holding your hands, like you kind of still feel really dirty. So you're like you have your handkerchief that you use to wipe, and you just like you kind of lightly use that to like wipe your hands as you're all like, as a kind of a nervous tick, like a nervous tick as of sorts. Like you want your hands to be clean, and they don't feel clean. While Jean has like calmed his nerves a little bit with a drink, Jean is you're doing your best not to look at any mirrors in the car.
Yep.
Like you made effort of turning like the rear view mirror. You took effort to turn it so that you would not be able to like see it, like look into it.
Yep.
And that was hard, like even not, but you feel very relieved, both of you, not being in that apartment anymore.
So, how do you feel about sending Lisa and Richard to finish casing that place out?
I feel pretty good about that. So, Godpool.
Yes.
I would like to.
Sorry.
I grew up and I live in Arkham.
Yeah.
This is vaguely reminding me of what I must have heard of Innsmouth. Can I make some sort of a roll?
You could make a...
Like a no?
Yeah, you could make a no roll with a... I would say with a slight penalty to it.
Alright.
Like, I'll say, let's see, I'll check your stats.
Don't think that makes it.
Oh, it does. Your no was a 95.
Oh, yeah, my no
Yeah.
is a 95, so I got it.
Yeah, even with, like, the penalty, you would get it. Like, you've heard of this kind of, like, stuff before, like, you've heard, like, people in the insane asylums and stuff like that sometimes, like, end up there after seeing, like, just... they've kind of explained going through really weird shit in, like, some places. And, like, they don't have anything, like, other than, like, the fact that they feel creepy, maybe, in knowledge. Like, in common. But you've never been to any of these places, but from what you can hear, like, from what you kind of, like, remember, like, people talking about, like, back there, is that although it's not incredibly common, these places are kind of like, some people think that they have some connection to the occult. Some just think that like some think that this is just kind of like your like mind telling you like some bad shit happened here, and you kind of know it instinctively.
Do you say all this, or is it just...
No, I don't. So do I think that this is...
How logical would you say that your character is? Like, would he believe in the occult?
That's really hard to say because he's a doctor, but he's a psychologist.
I would say that I would say because you're a psychologist that you would you would kind of like, for everyone that you've kind of dealt with, you would kind of chalk it up to being like a trick of the mind to a lot of these people. Like some of them just seen some shit and that's like just scarred them, and this is like how they deal with it. And you didn't see the shit that like Jean saw, but you would chalk this up to like just like, yes, this felt really creepy, like very unusual. You've never felt anything like this before, but I don't think you would connect it to the occult directly. Because you're still kind of scientific in that way.
I did grow up in Arkham. Like, I have I had, like, my father and my father's father.
Mm-hmm.
I'm living in my ancestral house.
Mm-hmm.
We all grew up in Arkham. And Arkham's kind of known for some weird shit.
Yeah.
So I'm not Scully.
Yeah. You're not made.
So what was your end determination? That I had heard of something that was potentially like this?
Yeah, something
but I
like
had
reminiscent of
talked it
this.
up at Innsmouth, or
Just like kind of like a rumor that you've heard around town specifically.
all right.
But I would say like you would heard of something like something similar to this, at least reminding of this. But how you would interpret it is kind of up to you. You would like I would think that you would be kind of like I'm not sure you would believe that this is a cult in nature, but you would like probably like be like this is suspicious shit. I would leave that up to you to basically how you would interpret it. But you are a psychological like scholar basically.
So, do we have the phone book with us?
No, you put that into evidence
Right.
at the end of lesson.
Do we have the secondary phone book with us?
That would be at the station because you did not state that you were taking it with you, but it's in your conference room.
All right, so I want to ask Jean to drive till we find the nearest phone booth so that I could take a look at the phone book.
Okay.
Jean just drives to the nearest phone booth. Doesn't say a lot.
So
you notice one thing, Leslie, is that he does not seem to use any of the rear mirrors or back mirrors. Like he just doesn't like he will instead like look backwards, like to his sides or backwards, than to use the mirrors.
all right. I'm still pretty shook up, so I'm not really one to judge. But I go to the phone book and I look for psychics. Not because I believe anybody who would present themselves in the phone book as a psychic was real, but I think that they might know about things that might be going on.
You find a psychic going by the name of Dustin Hoffman.
Okay.
Senior?
So I type it, or I pick up the phone, I punch in the Dustin Hoffman's number.
Mm-hmm. After a moment of ringing, you hear a man pick up and he goes, "Dustin Hoffman's office. How can I assist you?"
This is Dustin Hoffman, the psychic. Yes?
Yes, this is him.
Hi, my name is Dr. Leslie Hart of the FBI. I need to speak with Mr. Hoffman as soon as possible.
Well, what can I help you with?
Are you Mr. Hoffman?
Yes. Yes, I am.
All right, thank you. I am currently in the process of investigating a local murder case, potentially a series of murders. And I and a fellow agent were investigating the residence of one of the victims, and we found some rather odd things that I was wondering if you had come across or heard mention of or something.
Oh, well, maybe. I've come across many strange things in my line of work, but I haven't had many officers come my way. Well, please, however I can help.
Do you have an office that I can come and speak to you at?
Oh yes. And he gives you he gives you his address number, which is like, it's kind of on the outskirts of the downtown area.
All right. I say thank you. I'll be right over.
And you walk back to the car. Jean's kind of like a little bit impatiently waiting.
Just there.
Yeah.
Still stuck in her own head.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, so I say, I've got a hunch.
Mm.
I just talked to a psychic. Do I believe he's psychic? No, I do not. Do I believe he might be connected to the occult or occult groups that might be around here? Yes, I do. We have a meeting with him, and I tell Jean the address.
Did you say you just talked to a psychic?
I was waiting for this.
Did you not hear me?
No, I'm not sure I did.
Yes, I called a psychic. I do not believe he is a psychic, but I grew up in Arkham. And do you know what's in Arkham?
Are you sure you didn't mean to call a physician?
Do you need a physician?
I don't know, but you got whacked on the head pretty hard yesterday. Are you sure you don't need another one?
Do you want me to drive? So it's that, or we could go back to the apartment.
You do not want to go back to that apartment, Jean.
I don't want to go back to that apartment. I don't say that. I refuse to say that, but I don't want to go back to the apartment.
Yeah, you don't need to say it. You know that you don't want to.
So I drive to the psychic.
Begrudgingly, I guess. So you arrive to the at the psychics. It's in one of those like, you see that this is an apartment building, and you kind of think that this guy probably has like his apartment is kind of doubles as his office. And
right.
you see that he's on like the 4th floor, and you kind of like I don't remember if there's a doorbell at this point. No, you just kind of open and you walk up to the 4th floor and kind of knock on his door. And in about like just a few moments, the door opens and it goes, yes, this you are the officer that called earlier?
Yes. Dr. Leslie Hart, and I flash my badge at him.
Yeah. He puts his hand out to you. Dustin Hoffman.
I shake his hand.
Yeah. And he kind of like, you shake his hand and he grabs like with the other kind of like to shake it with like both hands. And you still kind of feel like really dirty on your hands. You're like, ugh. And he goes like, pleasure to meet you. You can make
a roll.
You can make a roll.
I don't know. I don't know. Would it be psychoanalysis or psychology if I was trying to figure out if he believes that he's real or not?
Psychology.
All right, then I will roll a psychology.
Well.
Oh, wow.
That is my second crit for psychology of today.
So, what that means is I'm going to allow you to roll for that increase right now.
Oh, sweet.
You've increased psychology before, haven't you?
I have.
So, roll a d6 for me. Roll whether or not you increase it or not first.
Right. I do not.
Okay, so you do not increase it, but hey, you almost did.
Don't close that.
Yeah.
Boy, sure, some nice rolls just thrown. Poor Richard.
So does he think that he's full of shit?
You kind of get the idea that he likes to think that he is the real deal.
Okay.
But you wouldn't say that he is though. It feels like he just wants to think that he is the real deal.
He doesn't actually have. I'm under the impression he doesn't actually have any gifts.
Yeah, you're under the impression that he doesn't have any special powers or anything like that. He likes to think he does.
All right. So I say, are you at all familiar with Arkham?
Oh yes, I recognize the place. Yes.
That's where I was born and raised, and it's where I live generally. You know what we have in Arkham? Cultists. Do you have anything like that here?
Gene walks out the door and goes and waits in the car.
So you're still you walked into the room and then Jesus gone, and
no.
He goes oh. Not that I know of, no. I've had some strange people come by, but none that I would call cultists. But I have to keep confidentiality between me and those that come to seek my aid.
I understand. I'm not talking about in a business relationship that you have with your clients. I'm talking about more of do you have your ear to the ground socially? Is there a place where you and the other psychics spend your time?
There is we have a tiny community, we have a tiny gathering from time to time, but we're just a few, a few people with some connections to the other, just coming together and discussing our work, really. We meet maybe once a month.
And I ask him if he's seen anybody with the Innsmouth look. The Batrachian. I don't ask if he knows of anybody who has the Innsmouth look, but I describe the Batrachian with the big eyes that are coming out of your head, and the Innsmouth people before they go into the water.
Do you know any fish people?
No.
If he has seen anybody who fits this description.
No, not that I remember. I haven't seen anyone like that here. Actually, I've just never seen anyone like that. That does not sound like a pleasant sight. Although not many of the things we see are pleasant, though.
Can I roll an idea?
What do you want an idea?
I want to know if it would be worth my time and effort to have him try and contact Elizabeth Short.
Yes, you can. You feel like it would be a waste of time.
All right. I say thank you for your time, and I walk away.
No, thank you, and I'm happy I could have helped. And as you're kind of walking away, you kind of like, again, with your like the kind of hand that you shook his hand with, you kind of like try to like clean your hand by like kind of like a little bit rubbing it to your like suit, just because you don't want your hand to be dirty. And you kind of stop like in the staircase before you go, and you look back and you see like he hasn't completely closed the door. He's like still peering through it, but when you look back, he like closes the door. And you look at your hand, and you just like, and you see your hand like very sweaty, and like kind of, you feel like pretty uncomfortable on your hand, like just.
Can I roll?
You're not sure. You're not sure if it's just because you shook hands with like this dude, or it's just like still remnants of like the shit that you went through back at the what you assume is the short apartment. You're like, ugh.
Yeah. Can I roll a psychoanalysis to see if he's like just curious, or if there was something more behind that?
Yes, you can.
Come on. Dude, what are the chances of that?
That's pretty. So,
Nice.
with the little that you kind of saw, you kind of get the feeling that he's probably a little bit curious, because like it's not every day that he gets a police officer, like especially FBI agent, like at his door. Like you said, this is the first time he's ever had like anything like this happen. So you think that this is because of basically you coming and talking to him. He's kind of like curious about who you are. But it also kind of feels like it's a little bit it's not sure like what to think of this, because again he's just a little psychic. He's not used to having big shot FBI agents popping at his door. So you think he's a little bit worried, but he's also curious. But you also do hear him lock the door after like you go. The door was locked before you arrived, so doesn't sound too out of place.
All right, so I go back and get back in the car, and I turned to Jean and said, "All right, you got any good ideas?"
Sounds like you didn't have any.
At least I had an idea. What have you come up with?
He just sort of half glances up at the rearview mirror.
You get kind of a, like when you do, you look at it and you kind of get a shiver down your spine, and you're like,
just no.
mm-hmm.
I see him glancing away, and I say, "Oh, you have a problem?" And I adjust the mirror just like a tiny bit, so he can't help but.
So, Jean, I want you to roll Sandy for me to see if you can keep your cool and not just immediately fix the mirror again.
I succeed.
Okay, so you do see him like for a moment like struggle a little bit, like keeping his cool, but he doesn't like adjust the mirror. But Jean, you feel incredibly uncomfortable. You feel like it's staring into your like soul, like it's jabbing daggers at you. And because you're trying to keep your cool with this thing that's just damaging your psyche currently, you're gonna take a if you're gonna withhold this while the entire time while you're driving, you'll take a sandy damage, which you're probably gonna do.
I fix it.
Oh, so you decide to fix it after a moment.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you see him keep his cool for a moment until he just decides to crook the mirror again so that he can't see his reflection. He doesn't say anything though.
Can I roll an idea? Gene's just been in sort of a delirious stupor all day.
Mm-hmm.
Just an idea that sort of kick out.
Yeah.
No.
You want to push that?
Do I get a really bad idea?
No.
You can roll your luck if you want to try to get another idea. But what did you?
Yeah,
like,
I'll
what
roll
was
my
your?
luck.
Okay, that looks like it might be a lot better. What?
That meets it exactly.
Exactly. Oh, sweet. So, what was the idea that you wanted to get? Like anything specific?
What our best course of action for where to go next from here with the information we gathered or didn't?
You would know that the best place to check out would be back at the short apartment, not the you didn't check out the living room, which you probably should have done. You think that this is the short apartment, so like you have nothing else to go on. But you could also attempt to get into Nora Williams' apartment. She has been away.
I'm gonna roll. So can I roll sanity to shake the paranoia and convince myself whether or not I can go back?
You think that you'd be able to go back to the apartment building, but not into the room. So when you try to enter the room, I'll have you roll sanity then. If you try to enter the short apartment.
Leslie, we should probably go back and check out that living room. We missed one of the rooms in the apartment.
You're the boss.
Good boy. So we drive back, and Jean's like white knuckling the wheel the whole way back.
And you arrive not very shortly. Again, it's I think about this time you'd be hitting 4 p.m. when you pull up in front of the apartment complex again and kind of nervously step out of the car.
Any change to Nora Williams' front?
Nope.
Are the papers and shit still there?
Nope. There's one more paper there, but, that's the only thing.
Okay. So we go up to the apartment, I guess. To Short's apartment.
So you stand in front of Short's apartment building, and you immediately, both of you kind of feel the...
Is there a window to the living room?
Not to the living room. That's at the back, and it's like high above, so you'd have to get stairs to get there. But
okay.
But as you stand in front of this door, you kind of feel like the creepy feeling crawl up your spine again, and like Leslie, it's not as prominent in you as it is in Jean. You can obviously see kind of Jean kind of tense up. You kind of tense up as well when you stand in front of this apartment door, but you get this weird, uncomfortable feeling when you stand in front of it.
After you, Leslie.
I take out my handkerchief again and test the door. Is it locked again?
Did we lock it?
No, it's not locked. Like it just kind of it opens inwards. So like you kind of open it and let go, and it just creaks open slowly.
All right, without really going in, I reach around to the wall and flip on a light switch.
You do that, but like the when you try to like flip the switch, it's just like stuck. Like it's like it's just stuck. You can't move it. And you're like in the building. You get a really like uncomfortable feeling, when you're like with your hand in there, you really want to pull your hand out.
All right. I guess I try and look at the light switch with my pen light.
You see that the switch itself, like it seems like there may have been like a surge there at some point, and it's like the plastic, there's a bit of like plastic, like metal and plastic there. Like it seems like the switch itself is kind of like melted into place. So it's just stuck. And there's like obviously signs of like the of a fuse going there or something like that. It's like black around it.
I turn to Jean. I say, we're going to go in, we're going to look real quick, and we're going to come right back out.
And Jean's jaw is set. He just nods once.
So we push open the door as far as it will go, and like eyes forward, soldier march.
So as you open
the
open the door, you get like you feel as if this like cold kind of wind hits your like face in a moment, and you both like kind of shiver a little bit. And I want both of you to roll Sandy to attempt to go into this room.
I'll go first. Yay!
You managed to take a step in, although very difficult. Oh, so
I succeed my sanity.
Both of you kind of like. Jean, you walk in more reluctantly than Leslie does, but Leslie, you kind of like you don't want to be in here, but you kind of like manage to like put on the soldier face and kind of march in there, like.
Yep.
And you kind of walk into like the middle of like you walk into the hallway and you walk towards the living room area, and like you hear the creaking sound of the door again, and you just look back and you see it like creak closed slowly. And you hear like in a moment like and the door is closed. Like that, Jean, you're the one that like looked around because you're standing back behind and you're kind of freaked out about the door. But Leslie, you kind of just march into it and you kind of like stop in the entrance to the kitchen / living room area, and it looks kind of shitty, and but it's empty. There's no actual like furniture in here or anything like that. Just see the cupboards and stuff like that. They're slightly ajar. Like you don't see anything in like the cupboards if you just kind of peek into it, like from the entrance to the living room / kitchen.
All right. I don't do a spot hidden, but I look for places where things could be hidden.
Okay. As a heads up for you, Leslie, you do not want to touch anything in there.
Right.
So roll spot hidden for me. And I'm going to have you roll it with a -10 to it because you're doing it from the doorway there. And you can't see properly into the room. Oh.
I fucking fail.
With your nervousness and you're kind of like trying not to lose face here currently because you're trying to like soldier up here, you don't really manage to explore, like to search the room properly from where you are, and you kind of figure like, if I want to get anything out of this, I need to go in here. And you just kind of feel this dread of needing to walk further into the room. Jean, you kind of nervously look around, and you see that the bedroom door and the bathroom door are closed.
Say that again?
The bedroom door and the bathroom door are closed.
They were open when we left?
Yes, they were.
Okay. Front door's closed?
Yes, it is. It feels like this entire place is kind of slowly encroaching upon you.
Yeah, so I poke my head into the living room and check it out.
Yeah, you start to feel like this sense of dread when you put your head into that room, and you're like,
this isn't going to last long.
No.
Spot hidden?
Yes. With a -20 for you, because you do not feel calm at all. You have a -20 because you're standing in the door and you're not like properly checking the area, and because you are a lot more nervous than Leslie is currently.
I would say I would properly walk into the room. I wouldn't have that same fear.
Oh, yeah, okay, you want to walk into the room? Okay. So you're going to just get a -10 for being, like, just feeling, like, uncomfortable from the dread kind of encroaching upon you. You can kind of see the dust, and kind of in the area, just, like, kind of in the air, with a little bit of light that's coming through the window.
Yep.
Leslie, when you see Jean walk into the room, you feel like your focus on him kind of like you start to lose focus on him, like your vision kind of like gets blurry, but it's only Jean that gets blurry to you, nothing else. And for a moment you're kind of looking at Jean, you're kind of blinking your eyes, you're like, what is this? And it feels...
Can I roll
You can roll what?
Can I roll psychology on myself?
Yes, you can. Oh my god!
Third crit and all of them ended in 6s.
You think that you're probably, like, with the concussion and everything, you think you're really tired. You think that this whole experience, like this room, the concussion, everything of that stuff, like, and the broken rib you have, like, you're just, and the more, like, you're on some painkillers.
Yeah.
You think like the combination of all of that is just getting you so tired, and you think your mind is like playing tricks on you currently.
Okay, but what do I think's wrong with Jean? Because to me, it's like a logical leap of, yeah, okay, I'm on meds, I hit my head, so I'm fucked up.
Yeah. So
then I look over at Jean, and I'm like, but he's fucked up.
Yeah.
And he didn't have any of that.
Yeah. So for you, Leslie, like you're kind of like you kind of look at Jean like properly now, and you kind of, for you, he like Jean is like walking back towards you, and he's like, "What's up, Leslie? Can't handle it? Can't handle the job? What the fuck's wrong with you?"
Oh, okay.
Can I roll a cult based on what I'm experiencing?
Jean, what you're experiencing is that you're kind of looking around the room and you don't see anything.
I thought you said I was having some vision.
Yeah, you
shit
feel like
going
you
on.
feel like basically you feel kind of dread, like looming over you.
Yeah, can I hit that with an occult roll now that I'm like in the living room?
Yeah, this
Just see
this
if
room
there's
feels
anything else that...
this room feels worse than any of the other rooms.
Hmm.
But yes, you can.
Oh.
Jean rolls the bad stuff. Leslie rolls the good stuff. You don't know. You kind of just you feel awful in here, and you're like, if this has any connection to the occult, I have no idea what it is. You kind of start to think like this may be like you start to think kind of like this is like all the stress that this job is giving you, and you kind of start to think like that this is kind of like that you're getting kind of flashbacks to your past, like the stuff that you've done in the past, and you kind of start to feel like really uncomfortable in here, like everything you've done is kind of coming to get you.
Sure. Yeah, I'm out. Are there any like bookshelves or anything in here? Anything that we could grab and review later?
There are shelves here, but they are empty. This place seems to be just cleaned out.
Okay.
So, if I see Jean leaving, I'm going to assume...
What you see is Jean standing in front of you, talking shit to you. He's like, "You can't handle the job, Leslie?
Alright,
We need to examine this crime scene."
So I go, I can be a good investigator. And I walk forward, and I throw open every door or cupboard that can be opened. The fridge, the freezer, the icebox, I don't know.
Okay,
the window, I'll open that. I'll open everything.
So, Jean, you hear Leslie just shout that out, and you kind of like turn around. You're kind of freaked out, and you see him just throw open everything, and you're like, "What the shit's going on?" And I want you to roll Sandy to see if you can keep your cool. Because I know that you wanted to get out. No, you don't keep your cool.
No.
And you decide to just storm out. Like, you just storm out of the house and you just walk, like, open the door and you walk out. And you kind of like, the door kind of like slowly closes behind you as you kind of like lean on the railing and you just kind of start to breathe. Like, you feel your heart like beating rapidly in your chest and you're like...
Can I at least drag Leslie out with me?
Not currently. You just kind of like, you felt like you needed to just kind of rush out, and Jean, like, Leslie's just like, I can investigate this place, and he's being somewhat rough, kind of borderline violent.
Yeah, I'm going back in for him.
Okay. The door kind of looms over you as you reach for the handle again. And before we do that, you hear Leslie. You hear Jean go like, "Is this any way to treat a crime scene, Leslie? What the fuck's wrong with you? You're ruining everything."
I have some major guilt from having to call my boss the other night and admit how I fucked up. So...
Yeah, you feel that guilt like amplify itself and kind of creep up your, like, up.
So I don't say anything, but like I'm starting to tear up, and I'm shining my pen light into like all the corners, the nooks, the crevices of everything I have now thrown open.
And Leslie, I want you to make a Sandy check for me. Oh!
Well,
so with that,
Leslie's dead.
So with the you feel the guilt crawl up you, and you feel like the blame and the accusations thrown by Jean kind of weigh heavily on you, and you feel yourself become anchored down, and you kind of like drop down to your knees kind of in the middle of the room, and you just like look at your hands that are like you saw earlier, and you see the blood again on them, and you start to like claw your hands like, this isn't true, I didn't do anything. And you start to just ramble some just nonsense. And Jean, you start to hear weird sounds in the room. And Leslie, looming over you, you hear just Jean just like he's talking like just accusations. He's like, you piece of shit, you can't even do proper investigations. And
I shoved my bloody fingers in my ears.
yeah, and you start to like slightly like with your fingers in your ear, you start to like slightly crawl your like face, and you like you're in a panic attack. And Jean, you start to hear this weird sound. So I want you to roll whether or not you like. I want you to see how like resistant you're gonna be when you go into this room. Oh,
Pretty.
so you open up the door and you see just Leslie in the middle of the room, just kind of like clawing on, like it feels like it's just clawing off his own face currently, just like blabbering something like incoherently. And you rush into the room and you just like you feel like the walls like encroach upon you, and you kind of like just grab him and kind of start to pull him out of the room backwards. And as soon as you pull him out of the room, you just see the door slam on you. And that is where we're gonna cut. Leslie. Leslie.
Yeah.
You're gonna take quite a bit of sandy damage from that.
Don't I roll for sanity damage?
You lost.
Yes,
already.
you do. You lost the sandy. I'm gonna roll the sandy damage now.
Oh.
So you're gonna take a D2 plus a D8.
Damn.
Because you critically failed it, basically. Oh, just 3. However, you do take 2 extra just physical damage from clawing off like your hands and your face. You're just like your hands are bloody from your own blood, and you have claw marks on your face.
Thank God you sanitized them.
Yeah. And
Insanity ties them, though.
Oh.
so I'm gonna write down here. Leslie went crazy, yo. Tried to claw off his face and hands. And next time we will probably pick up with Richard and Lisa at their crime scene. But you got your first kind of touch with the shit that fucks with your mind.
Yep.
Did you like the apartment, guys?
Oh yeah, I love that so damn much.
That's good.
All your rolls were beautiful up until you went
Yeah,
back.
up until that.
Until I needed them.
Yeah. You rolled.
I had
Jinxer.
You rolled.
3
No.
psychology crits.
You rolled like ridiculously well, man. Oof. I was like, what the shit? How are you doing so good?
Yeah, I didn't even use my luck to re-roll anything.
Yeah.
This game.
But dang it, that last sandy check really did you in, though.
The way my rolls went, I am so glad I didn't go to that. Holy crap, I would have been dead or insane.
Yeah, like
You would have just been a drooling mess mumbling about.
this could have ended really badly for you, Leslie. If you would have rolled, and if I would have rolled much higher on the D8, you could have ended so badly.
Just drop.
Yeah, because the worst case scenario was that he would go, that Leslie would go into basically like a shock, just mental blockage shock, and just like shut off his brain, like just pass out. And he would not just do it like this. He would kind of just foam into it, because that was like a pretty bad sandy attack that he got there. But it's gonna be interesting to see how Leslie and Jean are gonna function together after this.
No.
No. Like I had a series of things like that would happen there, but yeah, I'm pretty happy how this went. This is I knew that I'd have some occult stuff happen, but you know, this is just a taste of it. But yeah, Leslie, you're gonna have a great time when we start next time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So much fun.
Hey, now you know how I felt for like 4 months.
Yeah. Godpool, it better be next week. It better be.
Oh yeah. This will be next week. Oh, trust me.
And then my computer blows up.
But yeah, guys, this has been the 7th episode of Unsolved. We had a little bit of technical issues there at a point, which is why we kind of needed to add a little bit extra to this just to kind of fix up that. But this was a pretty good episode.
This was fantastic.
I am pleased with how every one of my players kind of handled the situation, and they're kind of getting closer to a goal. I won't say whether it's a good goal or a bad goal, but they're getting closer to a goal. And hopefully they will have this case cracked open sooner rather than later, with how things are going. But until next time, I'm Godpool, and with me are as the game master, and with me are my beautiful players, Brienne as Leslie,
Bye.
Michael as Jean,
Goodbye.
Zia as Lisa,
Bye bye.
and Kellen as Richard.
Curse you, RNG!
Join us in our next episode for some more possible psychological torturing and some crime solving. Until then, like the video if you enjoyed it, and please subscribe if you had fun with this stuff. There's gonna be more stuff coming up, and we hope to see you in the next episode. Until then, stay safe, guys, and take care.